What's going on, guys? This episode of Aliens on the Border features local microbrewery MileZeroBrewing. Now, unfortunately, the first part of the video was corrupted for some reason when I was uploading that. So the video is actually going to start a couple of minutes into the podcast. To get the whole experience, subscribe to our audio outlets on Google, on Spotify, on iTunes, and on SoundCloud as well. And you can get the whole episode in its entirety in audio format there. So yeah, this episode's actually going to begin a couple of minutes into the episode itself. Once again, the whole thing is on audio. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. Y'all have a good one. I had some of my favorite brews, dude. Like
the 120-minute IPA.
Yeah, the 120-minute IPA was a little bit too bitter for my taste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I like the 90-minute one. I really like their ancient ale, the Midas Touch. I don't know if you ever had that one.
I don't think I've tried
that one's super good. It's kind of based off of like a mead almost.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They might still have it at Specs. I got it a couple of times from there. I got the Palo Santo Marron one and that one on the same night. And next thing you knew, I was like, damn, I was fucking feeling some type of way off of just two, like one of each, dude. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. Super good. And then through that homie of mine though that I was telling you about that kind of got me into the whole craft beer scene, he had me try the Prairie Ale, the fucking birthday bomb one. And ever since I tried that one, that's been like my fucking that's the top of the top. That's my number one. And when Black Panther came out, they also had, I don't want to say it was a stout, it was a porter from this brewery from San Antonio. Fuck, what's it called? Weathered Souls Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They had one that was called Long Live the King.
Yeah,
dude,
I tried that. That was really good.
It was fucking good.
I even tried it with like as a beer float. It was so good.
Dude, I bet, man. It was just amazing. And I remember like not that many people were drinking it. And one day, like maybe a month or so after Black Panther had been out, I went and I was like, yo, pour me some of that. And they're like, we had to tap it. We had to like drop it. So they had like a private party or whatever. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be disclosing this information. But they allegedly had some sort of private party and they fucking finished it there. And I was like, motherfucker, that was the fucking shit.
I like that one, yeah.
You know what? This one actually kind of reminds me of a Roundabout Midnight. It has like right?
Okay, yeah. I never thought of that, but yeah. And I've had that one quite often. That's like my go-to when I go to Alamo.
Yeah, it's like a staple. Like boom.
Yeah,
I can have that.
Yeah, it's very chill. Nothing aggressive.
We were at the Weathered Souls like 2 weeks ago. No, last week. Yeah, we went on a quick trip to San Antonio and we made a stop. But I mean, we love trying new beers. We love going to breweries. Even though we've been brewing for over 2 years at this point, it's the first time we've gone to a brewery together. Besides
real shit.
Yeah, it's the first. Our schedule was always messed up, and we stopped unfortunately brewing for maybe a good 4 or 5 months, maybe. Because
it's closer to a year.
Because I went back to school.
Oh, okay.
My schedule was all over the place, working full time. So unfortunately, we couldn't. So all my stuff was just there and just kind of teasing me. But we would have had more under our belt. But we're as soon as I stopped school, just boom, back at it. This is the one.
Yeah.
Dude, when George was telling me about that shit at work, I was like, fuck, let me get it. Like, as soon as he told me y'all were, going brewing the stout, I was just like, that's right up my motherfucking alley, dude. Like, I want that.
Well, actually, my thing is I've been wanting to enter a competition, and they're all in San Antonio, Austin. So, I hope to enter 2 competitions. They're really close to each other. But the category I want to enter is an imperial stout. So I'll make sure to save you some for that because we are going to do that.
Fuck yeah, that's badass. And do you go to Cultura at all? Often?
Yeah. My 2 go-tos are either Alamo or Cultura.
Yeah, because they always have dope ass beer selection.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it.
Yeah, for real. That's the reason why. I think sometimes I'll just go to Alamo and not even watch a movie, just go to the bar.
I do that. Yeah.
No, we do that all the time because we ride. We have motorcycles, so we ride, and every so often we're like, hey, let's cruise. We'll cruise around town for a while, and then we're like, let's get a beer real quick, and Alamo stopped by. Like I said, not even a movie. Sit down, get a flight, get a beer, and just one, super chill, and then head back out.
And the reason I brought that up was because Cultura, when they did the grand opening for their new spot, they got to brew their own fucking their own beer.
Carbog?
Yeah, from Carbog.
That one, right? Yeah.
Did you try it?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't try that one.
Dude, I didn't get to try it either. I was pretty sad. That was something I was looking forward to, but I don't think I was in town when they did the grand opening. And I was like, motherfucker, that's fucking wanted to try that
I
shit
think I
so
wanted
much.
to make it. I don't think we made it.
No, the one I did try though was in the beer fest. I know they made a cask especially for Cultura. It was an imperial stout. I tried that one.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
I know that they, I don't know, man. Cultura's been pretty good at just bringing in new shit and always pushing the forefront. Whether it's like even not just outside of beer, but like as far as just the, I don't know, the new
Like the
scene.
vibe, yeah.
Yeah, the new vibe in Laredo. It's like they're at the forefront of that shit, and I really fuck with them heavy.
No, yeah, it's a lot of fun though because it's opening the doors for more art, more different types of arts.
A lot of
I know.
exposure to different things we're not used to.
Yeah, and that's the
Definitely.
best thing. Like being able to have a place for local artists to show their work, present themselves, like the music. They have the upstairs with the art.
I think they even had a homebrewing thing that you went to, right?
Yeah, they
Oh,
do
yeah.
some at a Cafe Dolce.
Yeah, it was
They've
that
got,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I was there. So they had the first meeting a while back. It was with.
I think I worked, that's why I couldn't go.
Yeah,
but
you had to work unfortunately, but I was able to make it. Met up with a couple other local brewers, and we got to hang. We were heading it in the works, like to want to have a brew session together, so everybody can work on it together. Like if some people that have less or more experience, we get to share that and grow. I mean, and I think I was really looking forward to more of that. I don't think
I don't think they
gotten
did it
past
again,
that.
no?
Yeah, I don't think they've had another meetings, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, not that I've heard of.
Yeah, because that was
nice.
probably about a year ago or so, like a good 8 months minimum.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the last time I spoke to Chris from Cultura, he had brought that up, and I was like, bring some beers from people that brew, dude. Fuck it, just
Dude,
have them here.
Really cool. Yeah, we've been kind
Showcase.
of spitballing, like maybe making a club or something, just because I'll see some of the San Antonio clubs and they're doing a lot of things like together, and it would be cool, you know. Just and then that also exposes Laredo to like a different art and stuff, and you know that's how you grow.
The brewing aspect of it. What goes into like a brewing process? Like, where do you guys? How does it work?
Well, it starts, I guess,
Funny.
with just spitballing. I'll just say like, what do you want to brew next? And
It's a crazy thing. So the best thing about it is how much we really enjoy brewing. Honestly, like we get to kick it. We're brewing, and we're the reason I say it's the best part is because it's work. Like we're there in the sun, we're going through the elements. We're trying to make things work. But I mean, we're not even done with the one we're doing. I think it's the first time we haven't talked about what to brew next.
yeah,
But we had a brew session today. So our brew session today ran extremely long for a couple of reasons. But that's the best thing about it is that when we're already brewing, for example, today we could be drinking the beer that we brewed last. But while we're drinking
This one?
yes,
Okay,
exactly.
so
We're drinking this beer, we're making a new one, and we're already thinking about the next one. So we got like three beers that we're drinking, making, and thinking about next. And unfortunately, we haven't talked about it yet, but last time we discussed, this one in a different type of beer.
yeah.
But I mean, that's the best thing about it is like, so we put like 2-3 weeks of thought into it minimum, where we discuss what we want to try to go for. You know, what style of beer, a stout, goes a sour, a pale ale, an IPA, whatever it is that we want to go for, and like, okay, so what do we want to do with it? For the most part, like we mentioned, we've been sticking to fairly not too complicated, just because we want to refine our process. We want to make sure we don't have too many variables that can affect, and like if we change recipe and then we change process,
Yeah.
all of that can affect the process, the final product, and we're not going to know where we messed up. So
And this recent one was, I think I was most satisfied just because we upped our equipment. So instead of fermenting in glass or plastic, we're fermenting in stainless steel. So a lot of not that it's of lesser quality to ferment on glass or anything like that, but it's safer, and it's a better quality. You know, you get a more refined
controlled
product.
environment. That's the thing about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the less variables we have, the more we can control temperature or equipment. We're able to, not ignore it or forget about it, but just know we're not worried about it not coming out right because, the cork slipped out and we had like introduction of too much oxygen. What are different things, but I mean, so that's like 3 weeks of thinking about what we want to do. We order some stuff, our
Yeah.
ingredients, get that delivered. And we're always trying to improve our process. So like, what's the next thing about the process we want to improve on? We look at what we need to purchase for that, and then after that, our brew session. Like today, we usually try to be there up early, like at 8-9 in the morning, because it can run like 4 to 6 hours for the most part. We meet up, get our equipment ready, and then we start a brew session.
Yeah, with the so it's basically just spitballing, like you said, for a couple weeks. The way we go about making a recipe, though, I'll usually look at it like, what have people done, what have they used, and their reviews on it. So like, I did the same thing with coffee malt. I saw like a lot of the cool thing is, like, if somebody out there made a 1 gallon batch and they used a certain percentage of a coffee malt, and you know what, they're like, I love the amount of coffee it gave, it wasn't too much. Well, then I know that I could just up their percentage to my batch size, which is like 5 gallons. So I'll just take stuff that people have done, their reviews on it, and I'll make like a conservative average in the recipe, and then we'll just go based off that. Like I said, we go really conservative with all the ingredients and stuff like that. We don't go too crazy.
At least not yet.
At least not yet. I was about to say,
because we want to create something, a base, so we feel comfortable with a stout. But now what can we do to modify this stout, give it a different, like, we can think about, like, we had the stout previously, or was it the porter with the almond and the coconut?
Yeah, it was a porter.
Fuck.
It was a porter we did.
I think you told me about that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Like,
it was really good.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Fuck
No,
it.
so for example, that was with our previous setup, we had produced at a much smaller scale. So
it was a gallon.
Yeah, it was a gallon batch. So I mean, with loss, we were left with 3/4 of a gallon. I mean, we downed that. That's so the growler is 64 ounces. It's half a gallon. So we're
Slightly
about to
more,
drink it. Yeah, we're about to drink half a gallon right now, and
so that would have been our whole batch, like, before.
Yeah,
which is the cool thing now. Because the weird thing is, like, I really wanted to push a bigger batches quick, because from 1 gallon batches, we do the same amount of work. Maybe even it's more strenuous on us to make that 1 gallon and to only get like half a gallon out of it. So like, it's more beneficial to us to make 5 gallon batches and really get to enjoy it, give it to friends, and have other people give feedback. Because that's actually what I want, just to, like, where did we go wrong? What, like, did we come through with what we envisioned,
And how do you guys, like, store it once you finish with the brew process? Like, what do you...
Like, where it's keg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's in a keg, right? Obviously.
Yeah. I made... I know they sell kegerators, like, already, with the tap and everything, but I just bought a 100... I think it was $150 at Best Buy, chest freezer. And I just made a wooden collar around it and drilled a hole and put a tap, so it's on tap.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So like, as soon as we make the beer, it goes into a fermenter, and the fermentation process takes about two and a half weeks.
Before, it used to be a good 2 weeks minimum to really do the fermentation, but I mean, now with our new setup, we're from like actual brew to glass, like, we can do it in 2 weeks. Like, it's gone really good,
ready to drink.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the majority of the time that we spend waiting, it's in the fermenter, waiting for the fermentation process to finalize. After that, we keg it, and the keg is in the...
So you can call it keg freezer.
Yeah, keyser. Yeah.
Keg freezer.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty cool.
it's a deep freezer, been modified, and the keg is in there, connected with the CO2 tank, and once it's in there, we'll probably leave it there for 2 days for the carbonation process.
Yeah. Well, I think if you leave it, we speed it up. So what we do is we'll just get the keg and we'll ramp up the PSI, and we'll just shake it to really drive the CO2 in there. But it can shorten it to 2-3 days versus if you just do the set and forget, it could take 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Is there any difference in the flavor of it or anything, if one versus the other?
I think for ours, like I said, it was overcarbonated, but that was on me because I left the pressure a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who I gave some to, and then I just left it up, so it got a little overcarbonated. But yeah, you can taste. There's this weird I describe it as a boozier flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It's fooling you. There's more alcohol, but I just stir it a little more just to get it out, suspension. But there is a taste. You can definitely taste it.
is this what we're drinking right now? Is it overcarbonated, or is this? Did you already kind of like adjust for it there?
It's decarbonated from what it was. Because
Okay.
before I would just like smell it and like over the glass, and you can tell, easily tell.
And I'm telling you, dude, like it's crazy because it literally feels like I don't know, like I went somewhere, got a random like stout, and then just poured it into here. Like it's, if you wouldn't have told me that you guys brewed it, I would have been like, what is this from? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking good. I'm not even playing.
Thank
you.
Props.
I appreciate that.
Thankfully,
Props,
we've been
props.
getting good reviews. So,
yeah,
I mean,
we've gotten good feedback. A couple of people have tried it, and that's what it's about, though. Because I mean, we'll drink it, we make it, so we have our own opinions because it's what we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, once we present it to other people, we know what other people who don't know what we're going for. Like majority of times, I tell them, "Oh, drink it. Tell me what you think," and they'll tell us, my brother just tried it today.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the best reactions I get are from the people that don't even drink beer or they're not into craft beer. They're like, "Whoa, like this is craft beer," and that's actually what I was saying, that I'm biased when I brew because I like to brew in almost like gateway beers.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what put me on to a craft beer. Is we were at Gus's.
Oh yeah.
And I tried this coconut, I think porter, and that's what got me into like liking craft beer.
Death by Coconut or what?
Yeah. It was.
Death by Coconut's fucking good, by the way.
I know what you're talking about, but I think this one was a little more chill. It was honestly, I guess it was just me like unconsciously trying to brew it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of the beers that we make,
Very balanced. Like, it's not too much.
we've drank something before that we liked, and like let's try to do something similar to it.
Our own version.
Yeah, our
type
own
deal,
version,
yeah.
of course. Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of homebrew groups online. If you search, you'll find like a copycat recipe type of deal.
Yeah.
So you can make your own, like pretty much for any.
That's the
beer.
awesome thing. Like
Yeah.
people over there are experimenting with the weirdest things. If you think breweries are doing crazy things, homebrewers are doing even crazier things.
Fuck yeah, I don't doubt it.
And that's the cool thing. They're always making what's called like clone recipes. So like the huge breweries that you can think of, somebody's out there trying to make the clone, and then I mean that's a way for me to try to make my own version of that brew. So it's awesome, dude.
Another pour.
Yeah, thank you.
Another pour. Please, one more for the road, man. Good stuff. Dude, fuck, man. I can't. I'm hyping it up, but people like it's worth the hype, man, guys. It's pretty fucking good.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's
like
it's not that we're hoping for it. It's just good to hear that it's appreciated that it came out good.
Like the 2 weeks were for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn, that's good beer.
You can't taste the carbonation anymore. Well, like,
No, yeah, like you can't. Like it just tastes good.
A little bit more. You want some more?
I'm good. You can stop.
Top it
there.
off.
No, oh yeah, fuck it. Give me a little something.
We also brought another beer, right?
Yeah, we brought another beer there.
Yeah, oh, it's like one that you brewed,
No,
like
just
something
another
else,
just another random one,
special.
Just to drink.
Yeah.
just to hang out and drink.
So a lot of people, I've mentioned it to a couple of people, that I brew and that I brew with my friend here, my best friend, by the way. But yeah, it's one of the when I tell people about brewing, they're like, you must be like an alcoholic, drink like crazy, and
They're right, but
yeah, they're definitely right. But that's the thing, is like we really enjoy the craft of it, the process. When people wake up at 8 a.m. on a weekend to start doing something that we're gonna be sweating and
like we're beat like when we finish, but at the very end we're just like that was
it's worth it.
yeah.
It was just
So that's
fun.
the best part about it, because then when we have people try it, we're like, dude, like we were able to achieve what we were going for, and it's enjoyable. I mean, we want to make beer people can enjoy. We want to drink it. I mean, we want other people to drink it as well. But it's a lot of fun, and I don't know. I think like I was saying, so he doesn't really like drinking beer. He likes trying different beers, but like I mentioned earlier, he doesn't slam him, and I can, but it depends what kind of mood I am in. So sometimes, the majority of times, when we drink craft beer, we're just trying beers. We get some online, get them delivered from out of town, and
How do you do that shit? What the fuck?
Well, I mean,
You gotta have your ways.
yeah.
Well, off topic.
we have friends.
Oh,
That transport.
transportation, allegedly, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, but
nothing
I mean,
illegal. Nothing
yeah,
illegal.
like we have like from a beer, craft beer group. Sometimes someone goes out of town. They're like, I'm gonna stop at this brewery. Y'all want me to bring you something? We'll look it up. It's like, hey, bring me a this beer from this brewery. And then, I mean, we're just anxious for them to get back.
You're gonna be moving up to Austin very soon.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
Dude. Try Fourth Tap Brewery if you already haven't. Try 512. Also, they have
512. I've tried.
they have the very staple pecan porter. Fucking lovely.
I've tried it. Yeah, I definitely I like that.
And if I'm not mistaken, the full grown pastry chef is from 512. If I'm not mistaken, I forgot. Or is it?
Is that the one that you say you love? No, that's from Artisan, the Prairie.
No, that's the birthday bomb one. The one I'm talking about is from Austin. That's like a seasonal one that they do. The full grown pastry chef. The original one, that's not chocolate raspberry. It's just like a stout. I don't know what exactly is in it. I haven't had the original one actually. It's called Full Grown Hombre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then like they did a seasonal release that my friend started drinking. He was like, "Bro, I need to fucking put you on this shit." And he came through and brought like, I think he brought like a 6 or a 4-pack, and like that day we just fucking murdered so many different things, and it was cool because like we essentially went from like the stepping stone to like where like how our taste developed for different beers and shit, and we ended up like with the full grown pastry chef was like I think the last one, if not one of the last ones, and we all brought like our own like this is like it was a fucking fun episode, and we got a little hammered.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's pretty much a bottle share. They're very common. A lot of people like, hey, let's get together. Everybody drink, bring a beer. Some people we have a couple of friends that we know that they always go out of town, and wherever they go, they pick up beer. And sometimes they just hold it, waiting for a get together. Where like, hey, let's
bust it out.
Yeah, let's bust it out. Like we have friends. I think last time I brought a beer from a cousin of mine worked at a brewery up in New Mexico. So I told him like, what's one of the most popular beers? Bring me that growler full of that beer, and he was able to bring it to me as a gift. I don't know. Yeah, as a gift from New Mexico. We drank it. It was like a very strong IPA. No, it was an IPA.
Was it?
Yeah,
I can taste like the toastiness of it right now. Like it's right there. Like
if you let it warm up, it has like it almost tastes like a different beer.
Yeah, it has
more coffee out of it.
This pour, I don't know why, but it has a little bit more flavor than the first one. I don't know if maybe
it warmed up or something.
That or maybe like the first one kind of just washed away the coffee I drank before.
Oh, yeah, from
yeah. And now I'm getting like a little bit more chocolate in it. Like I could taste it a little bit stronger there. And it's God damn it, dude. I love you guys. I love you guys for doing this. I'm glad
you liked it. Thank you. So, we had talked about being on the show from a while back, and I brought it to his attention. We're like, hey, we should do this, like just because we've talked about different reasons to try to grow the homebrew community. But we pretty much made this beer because we wanted to make it and bring it because you said you had like you were really. What's going on? It's not. I'm not drunk.
Hey yo! No, I thought you said it was a 5, man. I thought you said it was a 5%.
My second part of the day. No, but you mentioned that you really like stouts, so we made it to have it here today.
Yeah, the whole time we were brewing it, we're like, like it's perfect because we get to be in the podcast and we get to show you the beer.
That's bad. What's the new one that you guys are working on that you were working on today?
It's gonna be a Belgian wheat beer. So what we aimed in the very beginning was citrusy, very sessionable. Obviously, it's a wheat beer. We added coriander too, so hopefully we get a little bit of spice on there.
Interesting.
But very, like I said, very chill, basic.
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy just yet.
That one was more for me when I was when we were thinking of it. It was more of like let's see if we can hit a classic style, because there's obviously breweries. I think now like it's more experimental, so you don't really see too much of it going back to it's like the core beers. So like I said, I want to get into competitions, and a lot of it's like nailing certain classic styles because you can't just make whatever beer and enter it. You got to hit like every flavor profile. So with this wheat beer, what we wanted to do. So on that one, cool thing about upgrading our system is that we get to control like almost every variable, and any variable you can control in the process changes the beer. So with this new beer, we're fermenting it warmer. We're pitching less yeast, and what that's supposed to do, it's supposed to give you your classic wheat beer highly carbonated. We're looking for some banana bubblegum and a peppery note to it. So that's it's a simple beer, but the thing is with these simple beers and these simple like recipes, it's a lot harder for you to achieve. It's so easy to mess up because you're not hiding behind like lactose, chocolate, raspberries.
It's just
barrel
like
aged.
this is the fucking meat and potatoes, and if you fuck it up, you'll be able to tell.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like the basic the pasta. Just if you mess up the pasta, the rest of the dish can be covered. You dress it in sauce,
Some fucking sausage,
meatballs
some
or
shit.
whatever,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But we like being able to get these classic, the most common types, not the most common, just the classic beers. And I mean, like I said, now moving forward, depending on this comes out, we'll be like, okay, now we can get that. We're going to be able to present it at competitions. But then moving forward, we can use that same recipe, tinker with it, try to get something different. I don't know.
Have it as like a base for some a little bit more experimental type stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I've seen some hoppy, more citrusy wheat beers. So I mean, if we see that brew went good, then we can experiment and make something else that we feel.
There was one Belgians was my first love, right? Because of Blue Moon.
Yeah.
And
That's like that staple one.
yeah, it's like very like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? It's a pretty good, I guess, representation of it.
Mhm.
And where the fuck was it from? I don't remember. I think it might have been either when Alamo had just opened up or something that I had gotten from Feldman's before it turned into Spec.
Mm-hmm.
But it was from Alamo Brewing Company. And I forgot the fucking name of it, dude. It's God damn it, dude. I don't know, but it was like more crisp with more flavor than the Blue Moon.
Okay.
And it was goddamn amazing. Like I was like, what the fuck is this? And dude, ever since then, I don't know if it was just like maybe a seasonal brew or something, but I've never ever found it after that. And it's not the Golden Ale. The Golden Ale is like, it's okay, but it's not that one. I can't remember what the hell it's called, dude.
And this is the funniest thing, actually, and you just reminded me because, like, majority of people that I know, or actually, I'm not going to say majority, but now the me and you particularly, and I think we talked about particular beers that I know I remember and I haven't been able to find again. Like, talked about the ginger beer, and I think at the previous Cultura location, I think I talked with Chris about that I wanted. He had I think it was like a Rogue. I think the name of the beer was like Rogue. It was a triple IPA, and I remember. I think you were there when I drank it. I can't remember exactly, but I remember I drank that beer, and I'm like, "Damn, this fucking beer's so good." I enjoyed the shit out of it. I'm gonna want it again, and I haven't been able to find it again. I think when I talked to Chris about it, he said it was seasonal. He's like, "Oh, next time it comes around, I'll be able to bring it." Haven't seen it since, but I mean. I know it's one like it's like your white whale of a beer. Like you had it and like, nah, I want to get back to that same beer again.
You try to brew it.
Yeah, we should. Oh shit!
Fucking look up that recipe, boy.
Yeah, because that was way back there. Because that was before we brewed, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
It's been a while.
Have you ever like looked into or been interested in making like mead?
Well, in one of my recent classes, I met this guy who is a bee farmer. I think that's the correct term. And I know he gets
A
honey.
bee farmer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and among other things, he does like everything you can think of. And he was telling me that he gets the honey from there. If I'm ever interested, I can hit him up for some and possibly make a mead. I've tried a couple of meads, not enough for me to say I like or don't like them, but that would be something cool. Just to try to see if we can do that.
That was like the most interesting man that we talked about. Right?
Yeah.
Just
He's
fucking
really cool. I have him on
bunch of
Instagram.
different stuff that he does.
Yeah, man, he's crazy.
Jack of all trades, dude.
No, I mean, he's
Yeah, I think he said his dad and he are falconers. I think that's what you call them. Like they hunt with falcons.
Oh
or
shit,
hawks.
that's
honestly
fucking
not
crazy.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
he told me
awesome.
just that alone is like cool. Like I
Yeah.
want to be like you, but he does like I don't know.
I'm fucking Genghis Khan over here and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. That's crazy. When he first told me about that, I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, hunt with falcons. Like, he literally has a falcon. He tell him, like, pick some shit up.
Like you win. That's
Yeah, I know.
what you win.
Like, how do you fight that? But I mean, he was we had talked about it. Yeah, he mentioned about trying to get us some of his honey, And we had talked about like maybe we can probably make a mead with it.
I don't think we can make a mead from it. Maybe we could a really small batch, but I think we can incorporate it, make it like a honey blonde ale or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's what we talked about, the honey blonde ale.
That'd be cool. Just incorporate like local ingredients.
Have you ever had the what the fuck is it called? The revolver. God damn it! It's like a blood honey something.
Yes, blood orange.
Blood orange, yeah.
I like
that one's fucking crazy.
They had it on tap de la Cultura, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they've had it a couple times.
I know they have the can, or I think they had it.
I've had that. That one's really damn good.
Blood and honey, I think that's what it's called, right? Yeah. That one's crazy. It has like at first, I was like, it almost felt like you're biting into the skin of an orange. You know what I mean? Like it had that like powerful, like, whoa, what the hell is this?
Zest,
yeah. But like after a second, it's like, damn, all right. And it's a lot better on tap versus like out of the can or the bottle. And that's true for most beers. Have you ever had one that's like the opposite?
I don't think so.
No, I mean neither. Like majority of times when it's on tap, like I don't know.
I think you'd always want to have a beer on tap just because it's a little more fresh.
Yeah.
Unless they fucking have shitty tap lines.
That's true.
That could also ruin a good beer.
Tasting like every other beer they've ever had on there.
Or like if it's the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the thing. I think people don't. In the bottom, and obviously if it's an IPA or something, you really don't want any of that sediment. But
the bitterness really packs a punch.
And that one beer that I'm telling you about from Alamo was an unfiltered Belgian. So you saw like all the, it was like on the thing it was like pour into a glass so you can get the whole thing. But dude, I can't remember the fucking name right now. And it's really bothering me.
Now that you mentioned that, like because the pouring of a craft beer it enhances the flavor because it makes the CO2 escape and it makes you're able to taste the flavor a whole lot better. Because like if you get a canned beer, not a lot of places do it. Majority of the times you're supposed to get it and then pour it in a cup and then drink it from the cup.
I think it adds to the experience when you get to pour it, just because there's a lot of hidden flavors and aromas that you're just not getting.
True, from the can because it's all stuck in the can. Yeah. One of the things that I like about pouring is that depending what beer you get, right? Obviously, but some of the times like they look fucking badass and gold, and you're just like, yeah, that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, being able to look at the beer, being able to, majority of bottles and cans, of course, you can't see through, but bottles that are brown, and they hide the beer, and a lot of people don't look at that. It's not something people chase after, but we've gone for some beers that. Well, we made what was it? The East Coast IPA. You remember that was
I think the first one we did was like, that was a good one.
That we poured it and took it out in the light, took pictures of it, and it was just
so good.
Like a juicy look to it. It looks like you're just like is that a beer?
The funny thing about that one is that one was the first New England IPA we did, or like the hazy, juicy IPAs, and that one we fermented it in plastic carboys, and the funny thing is that we tried to make another New England IPA. And we fermented in our stainless steel vessel, and it wasn't right. We still hadn't gotten down the procedure on using that fermentation vessel, and man, we had to throw that batch. You're not gonna hear it. Even like commercial breweries do it, like breweries. But we all toss a batch here and there, and unfortunately. But
this one sucked. I remember I'm like, I can fight through it. I'll drink this, but. It got a flavor that wasn't what you want.
Fuck, that sucks.
So I remember I think one of the first time that you poured it came out good, and then after that it started. Yeah, it got oxidized.
Yeah, that's the thing with those type of beers. They're hard to keep because they're easy to make, but to actually limit the amount of oxygen exposure. And the cool thing about it was just more of a learning experience because now I know what to do, and I use that and applied it to this beer.
I think I've only ever had one New England IPA that they had at Cultura when they did that Bidi Bidi Bam Bam party thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fucking good. Like I was like, what the fuck? I've never had that type.
Because then as soon as you tell anyone that you want to try this IPA, everybody's like, no, I don't like it because it's too bitter. One New England IPA, it's going to be equally bitter, but it's not going to be a lingering flavor. That's like the way I usually explain it, where a West Coast IPA is going to punch you with the bitterness and it's just going to stay and linger in your mouth. the New England IPA, it'll hit you right off the bat, but then that flavor will dissipate, and you're able to enjoy the rest of the flavor of the beer. That's not just a punch of hops, the bitterness.
And there's also like everything in between. Because I'll find some New England IPAs that are imperial, and then it's just they have the same ingredients, they just implement them differently. Yeah, you'll have everything in between. So you'll have like a New England IPA that's also very bitter and lingers, and you'll have some that. We went to Weathered Souls this past weekend.
Did you try the Who's Got the Juice Now?
I've tasted that one.
Yeah.
But there was another one that was Who's Got the Fruit. That one tasted straight up like canned orange juice.
Oh, dude,
like,
yes.
It was insane. I was
like, was that like in a good way?
Is this even beer?
I mean, if you like sweet beer,
yeah.
it's fucking sweet. It's like you're straight up drinking that Big Tex.
The fucking
can.
Okay, yeah.
Not
the
even
picture wick.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say that.
There you go.
Look at that picture wick juice, bro. Goddamn,
Who's got the wick juice?
Get a cuchillo.
She trying to get me from my wick juice.
Dude,
not that it was bad, but
yeah,
it was
it's just
bad.
something, you know,
too
like,
juicy for me.
No, it's literally not even like you're drinking beer at that point.
Yeah,
it straight up tastes like juice.
I want to say maybe it was just
like
not
the grapefruit
fermented all the way.
orange. Like that. It was like we were talking about that when we were drinking. We're like, which one is it? And there's like that Big Tex grapefruit orange juice mix. Yeah, that's exactly what it tastes. It's fucking sweet.
Hey, you can make a mean paloma with one of those, dude.
I bet. I mean, yeah, that's what everybody. I've heard people use it for that. Huh?
Yeah. That fuck. What's your favorite IPA, dude? Like that you've tried. One that you can.
Like a hazy, juicy IPA.
Just in general, and the top one that you've had that is like, you can just have it all the time.
I think that the thing is, there's all these like breweries in like the East Coast and Northeast that are just, they're just churning out these hazy IPAs, and after a while, it sounds close-minded, but I think if you've had one, you've had them all. They just tinker with them here and there, which is cool though. Like, I mean, they are different, but for me, it's kind of the same. But ironically, the one I did really enjoy was from Cultura, and it was a Samuel Adams hazy IPA.
What?
It was just so chill, like. I don't know. I didn't think I'd like it, but it was so. Again, it was more of like a gateway IPA. Like it was something that you can give to a
very accessible.
Yeah, like I mean, I'd give it to someone who hasn't tried craft beer. But I think if I were to go to get that one, just because it's more accessible, I would get that. But I mean, like I think anything out of like the Northeast is just great. Even Weathered Souls, they make really good hazy IPAs.
George,
but yeah,
actually so. Oh, well, like when we're at Happy Hour, the comedy show that we were at, usually there they have, was it El Chingon?
Yeah.
That one's super fucking hoppy. You had you didn't have El Chingon, it was Lagunitas.
Well, yeah, I was drinking Lagunitas because they didn't have El Chingon. And like the bartender actually, every time I'm like, hey, how you doing, George? You want?
George El Chingon?
Dude, she knows me. Like, it's pretty funny because I'm assuming not that many people get that beer. And she said that, I asked her, I'm like, you have El Chingon? She's like, you know what? We had to throw them away. Something happened to them. They started popping or something.
Oh, shit.
I can't remember exactly what happened. She's like, no, we don't want to have it anymore. And it's funny enough, when I go to happy hour, that's usually what I'm drinking. And I can enjoy it. I shouldn't drink as many because they are heavy. And
yeah, they're like, what, like 7, right? Somewhere around there?
I think like 7.5. They pack a punch. I mean, I drink a 6er and I'm done for the night.
Gucci, yeah.
But I'm surprised, but it's one of the ones that I drink the most, and I'll drink the shit out of it. And it's funny enough because IPAs have they're known for being so bitter. Like a lot of people really can't have them like just one after another. I enjoy the fuck out of it. So when I'm drinking there, that's the one I drink. But also I don't like to repeat drinks when I go to different drinks.
Yeah, like if there's different options, you go with
exactly.
something new.
And then like Happy Hour doesn't really have that much of a variety in terms of craft beer, but I mean that particular beer, I kill it.
I think one of my favorite ones is Buckethead from Thirsty Planet. They do like Thirsty Goat, Buckethead, and a couple of other ones. But those are like the first go-to. And actually, that was the Thirsty Planet, Thirsty Goat. That's the first time that I had like an amber. Well, not the first time, but the one that I actually was like, oh, this is an amber ale, and it's fucking really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've always wonder like why the fuck do we not have this shit here? But like they don't really distribute outside of Austin, sadly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of fucking breweries.
Yeah, that's why we're like we have a lot of the beers that we drink when we're like either brewing or whenever we hang out. We have beers that aren't at all locally accessible, and we just drink them. Again, we drink them because we like to try different things and we're trying to see what we want to try to go for next. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how it creates its own subculture. It honestly,
real shit, for real.
Like it's crazy the subculture involved in craft beer. Like, I mean, we follow a couple of like Instagram pages that make fun of it because it's crazy. Like like any other culture,
people go too crazy.
Yeah, like.
Oh wait, hold on. Meta Modern IPA from Oasis Brewing.
Meta Modern.
Oh, that's that.
I'm always drinking it when we brew. It's so good. I think they have Mosaic hops, which is just like that dank,
like
it's so
fucking
sessionable.
Biting a pine cone.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I like to retract my statement.
that's the go-to.
That one.
I think for me it's a double IPA, but it's the Clown Shoes from the Space Cake from Clown Shoes Brewing. I don't know if you
I
had
haven't
it.
tried that one, but yeah,
it's
I know
fucking good.
yeah.
It's
Is it the one with the clowns on it, right?
Oh, I think on this one it's I forgot what's the cover art actually.
But I think it's the one
that brewery, right?
Yeah.
They have all of their beers have fucking badass like bottle designs and shit.
Yeah, the artwork on some of these beers is crazy. Like that one, I think the Space Clown or
Space Cake. There you go.
Yeah.
I think it has like they're like in a lowrider flying through space, and it looks like Chewbacca and Han Solo, but it's not them.
Yeah, of course.
It's that type of thing. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. And they actually recently stocked it at AOTB on McPherson.
Yeah, this one I know because it's one of the ones it's one of the craft beers that's readily available usually at HEB, and I think I bought it once or twice and we took it like to a bottle share or something. But
that smells good in here.
Yeah, let it warm down if you want to taste it differently. But yeah, I mean that's one of the few. Like that's the other thing that I don't. There's not a beer that I don't like. Maybe a beer style. I really like trying the different type of beer styles. Like my favorite beer style is like sours. Like every time I can, I'll drink a sour because I just really enjoy it. I feel like it's such a refreshing beer style because of the bitterness, the sourness in it. That's my go-to. Like whenever I can have that, it's usually what I go for. And it's not always it's hardly ever IPAs. Of course, depending where I'm at, but it's usually sours. It's my go-to or sours.
Yeah, I think a sour in this heat is just paired well.
Yeah, we're in Laredo. I mean,
the fucking year-round sours.
Exactly, and that's what it is about me. I love drinking sours because that's what I go for. And
I'm not that much a fan of sours, to be honest. Like
I mean, it's not for everyone. Of course, it's like
there's different beers for everyone.
Different palates, and that's one of the things. Like whenever I talk to people and we always drink like, oh, so like, what do you like to drink or whatever? And like, oh, I don't like beer. Like, you don't know that because you haven't tried it. And that's what I think. Like,
you've only tried Michelob, bro. You can't tell me you don't like beer. That's water, son. I don't know what you're talking about.
When I don't learn, when you try like Dos Equis and you're like, oh, I don't know about that. But like,
I'll have a Corona with some lime on it. Dude, suck the neck and shit. Like with the fucking the sal and the chile.
Yeah, making out with a beer bottle in the bar and shit.
Like, hey, whoa, I'll have one of those, dude.
Yeah, but that's what I try to tell people when a few like whenever I talk and they're like, I don't like beer at all. Like I don't. It's because you just haven't tried enough beers, which sounds like I have an alcoholic problem, but no, it's just experiencing the variety of beer styles. It's crazy,
dude. And it's funny that you say that because like before that homie of mine that I'm telling you all that really got me into craft beer, like I was from the outside looking in, right? Like the way that we're being super enthusiastic about it right now, I'd be like, motherfucker, you got a drinking problem. You ain't out here trying beers. And he was like, no, dude. And now I get it. Like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're not, it's not a drinking problem. It's just that like, it's fun, tastes good. Like, damn, I'm down to try beer, dude, all the time.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we enjoy so much about it. It's our hobby. Like, we enjoy the process. We like talking about it. We like coming up with an idea of making a different beer, a beer style, flavor, improving our processes. We just like the art of the process. And I mean, and then the best thing is how many hobbies. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are a lot, but it's one of our favorite hobbies because we can enjoy our result so well. And I mean, we drink the shit out of it.
It's a very weird hobby that I'm really thankful to have.
It's almost like being a fucking mad scientist in the laboratory, right?
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes.
A bunch of Erlenmeyer flasks and shit around.
Yeah, actually, you'll see that in my house.
You cooking meth in here, bro? What's going on?
They'll be like, "What's that noise?" And it's just a little like stirring plate with like the yeast in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His parents are very tolerant of him
Yeah.
because I always tell him, I'm like, bro, do your parents not tell you, like, you need to quit with your shit? Like, bro, you're always doing something different. And like you're talking about, like we're in the same. We have the same attitude about we pick up a hobby.
And you just
goes
fucking
balls deep, bro. Let's see how far we can take it.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, this one has not like worn out.
Yeah, because I'll do that. I'll have that impulsive like oh, let me try that, and then I'll go just ham, spend a lot of money, and then just leave it alone. But this one has been like honestly like my longest hobby.
And I think it's because the way we push each other too, like because we always
keep it going.
Yeah, we talk about it. We're always talking about our next step.
Yeah, because there's been a batch here and there where it's like it's gone bad, and it's like fuck this,
a little
like
discouraging,
fuck brewing and everything.
Yeah.
But then it's like nah, like you just keep going. I've been like close to that where it's just like nah, fuck this, it just went so bad. But nah, like we just that's the cool thing.
Yeah, but then we get a good beer like this that we're enjoying the fuck out of, and we're like, hey, let's keep it going.
For real, dude. Y'all did a really good job with this, and I'm not just saying that. Like, it tastes really good.
Thank you.
That dude, fuck, I totally lost my train of thought here, but it had something to do with beer, I think.
Surprisingly,
it has something to do with beer. God damn it, I don't know. You know what I feel is like a missing component here? Breweries, man. Like if we had some breweries, that'd be fucking dope.
It would. Yeah, like just to expose people to like this other, art form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I visit the homies down in Austin, that's like instead of like obviously at first when they had initially moved out there and we would go, it's like, oh, let's go to 6th Street, let's go to 6th Street, let's go to 6th Street. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it was like, well, we've been to all the fucking bars on 6th Street. Like, what else is there to do now? So we just started going to like different breweries, and I've only been to like a handful, and there's still some like I want to go out to like Jester's or the Thirsty Planet one. I haven't gotten to go to that one. Also like 512. We went to one. Was it SLB? I forgot. Oh, Strangeland Brewing Company. We went there.
I had I don't know what my girlfriend
They have a really good porter, by the way. Like fucking super stable.
It was like this 5-course meal that hotel had, and Strangeland Brewing was like the one they paired it with. It was insane. They had really good beers. Yeah, that's one thing. That's one I want to go to. I just haven't gone to, but I like their beers.
Dude, we lucked out, and the day that we went, I guess they hadn't renewed their license yet, so they were like, you can drink for free.
Oh shit!
You could donate whatever you want if you want.
Oh shit!
But the beer is free. Yeah, like you don't have to pay for your beer. And I was like, oh, I guess they didn't outright say that. Like it was like in the middle of the day, super fucking cold, like in the middle of winter and shit, and. My homies, my girlfriend and I, my homies that we went to go visit, another one of my homies that went with us from San Antonio and his girlfriend, we all went, and we got there, and like we're like, oh okay, like I'll get the first round. So like I gave the chick my card, and she was like, oh no, like you don't have to pay for them right now or whatever. And I was like, okay, fuck it, all right, whatever, I guess. Like
I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, I'm not about to say anything. And so like a couple of hours passed by. We were just like having fun, playing games and shit. And then I was like, we got several rounds, and then I went, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess like I thought it was like a happy hour special type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she was like, no, like we, right now, it's whatever you want to donate.
Oh shit!
And I was like, let's get lit.
The good thing you found out a couple hours later, not the very get-go, because then you would have been slamming them.
Slamming and bamming, dude. We were slamming and jamming, dude. That was cool because there was no one else at the brewery. It was like a group of we're like 6 or 7 people. 6, yeah, we were 6 people. The bartender lady, and then like maybe one more couple at the bar, and that was it. And I was like, their music stopped playing, and I was like, hey, can I just play my music or what?
Oh
like,
shit!
Yeah, and they were like, the chick was like, yeah, fucking here, and then like she just gave me the aux cable.
Passing the aux.
Yeah, for real, dude. That literally was like, here's like the aux cable thing. So I was just like, all right, let's go, boom. And then
shit!
We were just jamming out, and it was a super good time. Yeah, we ended up just getting a couple of like glasses from the brewery just to be like, hey, whatever.
Oh,
but
that's cool. That's fucking badass, though, bro.
Yeah,
like
it was fucking badass.
But that's the other thing is like, because it's usually not cheap to drink craft beer.
Definitely not.
No, yeah.
But dude, that's fucking badass. Like, my favorite beer is free beer.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to Strangeland Brewing.
Yeah. They killed it.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. As far as like accessible beers, one of the ones that I feel that do I think a really good job of creating like accessible versions of craft beer is Shiner.
Yeah.
Like they have the Ruby Redbird one.
Yeah.
The prickly pear beer.
The prickly pear one.
Yeah.
The fucking dude. They're all pretty good. And it's like it's like a little different spin.
Yeah, it's a good thing is that it's nothing too wild, but it allows people that are like, oh, I mean, yeah, fuck it, I'll try it. It's different, but it's nothing too crazy. So a lot of more people are going to try it, and opens up the world of what is like what you're able to.
I think they even have like variety packs now.
Yeah, the variety pack, correct.
They have like that Wicked one, the Weekend IPA. I know they have like the prickly pear one. They also have that Ruby Redbird one, which my girlfriend got into. 'Cause I think we tried that mango one, from Blue Moon, the mango wheat, whatever.
Yo,
have you had that one?
I've tried that one too. Yeah,
it's interesting.
And I think that's one of the ones in the variety pack for sure.
Yeah, and I bought those. I bought a 6 of that and a 6 of the Ruby Redbird one just because I've had both previously, and it was like a hot summer night or something. So it was pretty refreshing. Let's go. And she didn't like the mango one. Oddly enough, I was like, "What? It's like you're biting a fucking mango, literally."
Yeah.
But she really dug the other one. And then this last Tuesday, my brother's band Dos Leones was performing at Cultura, and let me tell you, holy shit, it was fucking packed for a Tuesday, dude.
Oh,
I was like, what?
My brother said, yeah. Remember?
Oh yeah, we were fucking talking about this shit. Yeah, dude.
Night,
Cookout, yeah. And anyway, so they had that on tap, and I got it for her. She was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" And I wanted to have it, but I was having that other stout that they had, which I can't remember the name anymore.
Oh yeah.
But it was just so good, and I was like, you know what, I might go back and get another one. But I think I just had like that one beer, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Like I don't want to. It's a Tuesday. You work tomorrow, motherfucker. Like relax.
Chill out.
And then, I mean, you might or might not go to work. That's,
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens on a Tuesday night when you go out drinking.
For real, right? On a Tuesday, dude. And God, dude, like hats off. That day was so cool. It was a ridiculous amount of like turnout. Like I was like, all the tables on the ground full. There was people on the balcony chilling. The inside was full. It was like a fucking Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, like. This is super packed. All the tables on the side, like you know how it extends out to the side, and the side entrance. Yeah, all of those were full too. And I was like, what?
Dude, and I really try to make it. I remember I told you we talked about it. I'm like, I really want to make it, but since I play pool, like I got really caught up there. And
when are you leaving to Austin? This coming Thursday, right?
I might leave sooner.
Oh shit! Okay.
I think Tuesday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Piecing out real quick.
Yeah. I mean. Fuck it.
Yeah, man. Fuck it. That's pretty cool.
Pretty much, yeah. That was my decision behind. Should I go Thursday or Tuesday? Tuesday, fuck it, honestly. So, yeah, I think it's going to be on Tuesday.
Damn, all right, because there's some other events coming up on the weekend. I was like, let's go.
Nah, dude. I mean, I would have been down. But honestly, like, whole lot of things that started coming up more recently now that I'm leaving. But I'll be back. I want to be back, of course, because my family's here. But I also want to be able to... we want to keep growing. It's a lot of fun.
Are you guys do you guys want to be able to take it to the next level maybe, or are you going to strictly keep it as like a...
I think the next level that I'd want to do is probably form a club or something, just because I know there are some people out there that are like on that walking that tightrope of should I not, because it is as fun as it is, it's a lot of work getting into it, a lot of money dropped down for equipment. Because, I mean, there's some people that get into brewing just because they want to, they think it's a cheaper way to get beer, but it's not.
It's definitely not.
But, yeah, I think that's the next step I'd want to do, just, get more people. Because, yeah, there's this cool, thing that they do that I've seen in other, homebrew clubs where they'll just go out and get an actual barrel that they'll buy from, a distillery, and they'll all brew the same beer, and they'll all just, transfer it there and, barrel age all of their beer. And they'll bottle it or keg it, whatever, or they all can enjoy their barrel aged beer, which is cool. Because
how long do they usually age the beer in barrels? Just in general, do you know?
I think if it's a new barrel, you really have to push it over half a year, just because there's so much
just to absorb
char and everything. Yeah, it really needs to chill out. But I mean, you can get away with that. If we wanted to make a barrel aged flavored beer, we could probably just amp up the ABV on this one. And they sell these oak cubes that you can age for a bit in a bourbon, and then just put those cubes into the fermenter and kind of emulate that style. So
Have you ever had the Old Chub?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that one?
I think they have it at Alamo, don't they?
Yeah, it's like a Scotch ale, I think.
I've had that one and I liked it.
I
Yeah,
think so.
I've had that one while watching a movie.
That one is strong, dude.
Yeah,
It's strong.
Fucking damn. Like I think like with 2, you're like feeling some type of way already on that. And I like the barrel aged beers, but really the one that has been the best, which I really suggest if everyone listening or watching or whatever, and for both of y'all to try, is that Dogfish Head one. It's a brown ale. I think it's an American brown ale that's aged in Palo Santo Marron barrels.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
I love talking about beer because then we get recommendations. We're always willing to try more beer, get it if we can get it delivered. If somebody can hook us up and bring us a beer, I mean, we pay for the beer.
I like the. Did you guys try the toasted coconut ale from 902? Was it 902? I think it's 902.
I think I know what you're talking about.
They had it at Alamo on tap for a minute, and then they had it at Cultura in the cans.
No, I had it at Cultura.
Yeah.
Sure
I think, yeah.
Because that same company also had a Mexican lager called Cerveza por favor, or Una Cerveza por favor.
Yeah.
That one was fucking legit. It was like if Dos Equis like got its shit together and stepped its level up. Yeah, that's what it was like. Like
shots fired.
Yeah, I mean Dos Equis. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that it's like next level.
Very
like,
commercially.
Yeah,
it's one of those beers because we talk about how like the different styles of beer are, and like those are good beers because they're so generalized and that more people can enjoy it. It doesn't have to adhere to a niche group of people that have a following for a particular type of beer. They're just, I mean, I don't say no to any beer. Like I can drink. When I hang out with my friends, like I'll just drink Bud Light all night. Make a little Bud Light, Budweiser.
Nothing wrong with a little water. Or
I think last night was the first time I actually sat down and almost like critiqued the Bud Light. I never like actually sat down because it's my first exposure to beer was just like beer pong. Get whatever beer and that's it. So like that's my first impression of beer, and I was always like, no, I don't like beer, but because I was
trying the wrong ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's not too much. It's not really too much different. If anything, craft beer is just more. You get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, you definitely get more flavor, more everything, dude. Like it's more of an experience versus just like pounding some like fucking.
Yeah. Because when you drink like when I drink Bud Light, I'm drinking it absent-mindedly. Like, I'm not focusing on drinking the beer and see how it tastes, the profile, whatever. Like I'm just drinking, and it becomes a habit. Like a lot of times when you're just drinking beer, because
there's no water around.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm smelling my cup, and you can smell the coffee and like the chocolate, like badass. Like it smells like you literally had like some sort of coffee in here.
Yeah,
it's fucking good, dude.
Awesome.
I dig it. Does it have a name? Do you guys name your beers?
No, it's weird. We haven't, and I don't think I've ever brought it up, or I don't think.
No, I think we talked about it with like one of the first couple of batches. Like, oh, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We really don't sit down and.
But they're not even names like like those quirky pun names. It's more of like, oh, this one's like the grape blonde.
Yeah.
Blonde.
That's the grapefruit
Which
blonde.
is the first one. It was from the kit that Monica showed us. It was a blonde ale. But obviously, like being like experimental, we're like, let's just zest some grapefruits.
I think that was like the reason we decided not to be as experimental anymore, because that kid, we're like, what can we do just to be different with it? And we started getting like grapefruits.
Yeah,
just threw all the rind in there.
the whole rind in there. Which like, I mean, it was like if we fermented in the growler, it was the gallon glass carboy. I had it just in my room, like in the corner. It wasn't controlled fermentation. So, I mean, among like the weird procedure we had and then the grapefruit we added, there were so many flavors going on. We're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, why is it tasting like this?
The first time we tried it, we were like,
it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad, but like, but this is alcohol. We're drinking alcohol. We sat down and make alcohol. We made alcohol.
That was what we said. Yeah, it was just
was our achievement of that night. When we
like
were
not die from our like liquid
from our concoction.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, it's beer. We made beer. We're drinking beer. The flavor. Let's not talk about that. We're drinking beer.
Let's knock it back.
Yeah.
And let's knock it back and see what happens.
It's crazy because, and like he mentioned it earlier, the process back then, we were only making a gallon. It took us like 6-7 hours probably.
Yeah.
And it's what we take now doing 5-gallon batches.
Yeah.
It's a huge improvement on how much beer we make that we're able to share it now. It's the same amount of work, and if not more, because we were so lost.
Yeah, because obviously, like, I mean, we're using kettles with no like valves, nothing. So we were like muscling around like gallons of water, like hot water, and I mean now we got pumps and everything. So we're not doing any heavy lifting, just the cleaning. So
yeah, like today we amped up one of our processes, which is the cooling down.
Yeah.
Before today, like our cool down process of bringing the wort down from.
Well, actually, let's start from the beginning because I don't think we've talked about how we make beer.
No, not yet. Not really. We haven't
We
really
can start
dived
doing
into
that
it.
Well, I mean,
from the
Let's
beginning.
start from the top.
oh,
Yeah.
because you talked about the process. We started talking about how we think about what we're gonna make.
Yeah.
It.
Oh,
We never
we took
got
a
to
left
it.
turn
Yeah.
from there. Yeah, true.
We went on a tangent, but the most important part of making beer for us is cleaning. Like, it's crazy how much we have to clean simply because it's so easy to mess up if you don't clean any of the equipment. Like, there's wild yeast on everything that can just fuck up your batch up.
And that's like a really big misconception like that people have that homebrew versus like commercial breweries is it like I think commercial breweries just have like a way better way of keeping wild yeast out. But you know, make no mistake, you know, commercial breweries, they do get their like infected batches and stuff. But that's like a big thing. It's like if the brewing day is mainly just us cleaning and sitting and waiting.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So to break things down, like when I come over to his place and we start working on the beer, first thing is of course prepping everything. We have everything we need. We have the materials. We have the equipment. We have the grains. We have those are just equipment and grains. And then we start filling up water.
So we'll start with the water. I've never asked for like the city of Laredo to send me anything of the water profile. We used to use the faucet water, which I mean I don't think made such a big difference, but now we'll get distilled water and we'll make our water profile. So, you know, we'll add our, you know, calcium carbonate, our gypsum, just basically making our water. So in a way that's not us being bougie or anything, you know, we're not too good for Laredo water, but it's just another variable we don't have to worry about, you know. Not saying that like, you know, it could have been the water.
Yeah, because I mean, as an example, like I think we made an Irish Red Ale once. No, it was like forgot, it was something like that. But we looked at what kind of water profile you would find in Ireland. So we created the water profile with the minerals that you'd find in that water, and that's what we use to make our beer. So it's just something that people might just think we use tap water, but we get distilled water and then we make a flavor profile, and that's just to get things started.
Which is like I said, like it's nothing that, you know, we have against like Laredo water, but sometimes like certain styles, or for hoppy beers or for dark beers, like for example this one, you know, we have a lot of coffee and coffee is very acidic, so we gotta, you know, bring the pH a little higher. So that's something we gotta add to the water to, you know, really balance it out. Otherwise it'd really be like astringent. So we get the water, and then we have to raise it to a certain temperature where we add the grains. And what that does is that we're trying to get the sugar into a small bite-sized portion for yeast. Because just like us, you know, if we bite off too much more than we can chew, you know, we can hurt ourselves. The yeast is the same thing. So that certain temperature that we call mashing is to set up the sugar for the yeast to consume. And like I said, every variable you have in the brewing process can alter your beer. So obviously, you know, you can mash too high or too low, and depending on your style, you want it a little too high or too low. So that's the first step. The water, the mash, where we set. The mash is basically trying to get all the sugar out of the grains. That's what it is.
Yeah, but then we mill. We buy the grain
Yeah.
non-milled because we usually store it for a couple of days, weeks, or something before we actually use it. So we have a non-milled grain. So
It's like a little seed.
yeah, they're little seeds that have the sugar inside. So we mill it, comes out. We put that in the temperatured water, and actually that's the favorite. Not the favorite, but we just sit and wait after that for like an hour.
It could vary depending on what style or like for like the efficiency I want to go for. Like I know today I really wanted to push like the waiting, so we went a half hour long. Usually it's 60 minutes, the mash portion, but I think we did 80 minutes.
80 minutes.
80 minutes. So it's just sitting and waiting. And then after that, it's just rinsing out. So we drain that portion off, and then there's just like that grain sitting there. We run more water through it just to rinse as much as the sugar we can from it. And from there, it's just boiling after that. Boiling serves to dilute it, like evaporate a lot of the water out just to get it to that certain density, like I was saying, that we take the first measurement to get the alcohol. And that's depending on the boil time. That's where we add our hops, like at what time we add the hops changes everything. It also serves to pasteurize it, because it is, you know, kind of tainted with yeast everywhere. You know, we're outside, yeast is going to get there no matter what, and that's a way for us to like really like clean, sanitize, and pasteurize everything that's there, setting it up for our yeast to do its job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we throw in the hops, and again we boil down. Like today's boil process was what really beat us down.
It was supposed to be an hour and a half, but it was 2 hours and a half.
2.5 hours that we were just waiting there. And we started pretty late today. That's the other thing. So we started like at 10:30, and we didn't finish till like 9. So that's
a long process.
We just finished cleaning. We came over here.
Yeah, but like out of those 10 hours, 3 hours were just us waiting to reduce the water content.
I think total time waiting was like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. So during that time, like, if we need to run to the store to pick up, like today, we went to pick up
we went to AOTB to get oranges for the zest, and went to get
coriander.
Yeah.
We bought a zester and a couple of things, some bangs to put us like in the, because we were tired. It was tired. And then we get the bangs, so we just come back and we just keep going. And then after the boil down process, we cool it down.
Yeah. So that was a new variable we were trying to work on, because before the cooling down took us like a good hour and a half, which is annoying because not only is it long, but we're outside, there's wind, so you really got to cut it short that time, because you know other yeast can get in there and really, you know, like just mess up the whole thing.
Yeah, so like the part that we included into our process today was a plate chiller. So it's a bunch of different plates, increases the surface area of our liquid running through it, so we can reduce the temperature a lot quicker. And
it's like a little radiator.
Exactly. It's like a radiator. So it was fucking amazing to do that today, because after we boiled for so long, we're like, previous to today's improvement, that would have been another hour and a half. So we would have finished to like 10:30, 11 tonight.
Damn.
But since that particular aspect of it is something that we improved on, we ran cold water through it and then the hot wort, and we were able to reduce it to like 25 minutes.
It was 25 minutes, and that's we were really conservative, because we could have probably done it like in 20, maybe it's 15 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes. So
but it was the first time, and I didn't want to I didn't know how it worked, or like I knew how it worked, but I just didn't want to push anything, because it's like we're running boiling water and like freezing water, and I don't want anything to mess up.
Yeah. So that particular plate chiller, like I said, it was the new part, and we put it to work today, and it came out fucking great. Like, it was such an improvement, because before, to the different ways, like when we first started, we just had a big ass bucket, put it in a sink with ice, and just stir it until it cooled down. Like that took like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then we got a different type of coil system,
which is almost like just like a copper snake that you run cold water through it, and you just like kind of stir it in there, and that's supposed to like.
And again, that took like an hour and a half too. And we're being able to reduce that part now into 20, 25 minutes. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And after that, it was that's like the home stretch. And after that, we bring it down to temperature where we can pitch the yeast. So we brought it down to like 70 we brought it down from boiling temperatures like 100 and
we started at like I think 180.
Damn. And then we brought it down to like 70,
which for the people listening, it's not crazy, but like for us it's like insane. Like,
and it's volume, so it's like 5 gallons of water at 180 degree temperature, which is boiling, down to 70 degrees in a matter of 20-25 minutes.
That's pretty badass.
And I think doing it like
we're fucking nerding out, because like we've been doing it for like a year. We're like, oh my god, this is like that one process where we take forever.
That's one process we've been like at least for a year saying like we got to do something about this. Like,
and being able to finally do it is like, it's a huge relief. Being able to knowing we fucking made it work.
And like you mentioned, the pitching temperature is basically the temperature that we throw the yeast in there, which is another variable that can change your beer. So like that's one thing. Like if you pitch your yeast too high, you'll get a lot of off flavors, and one of those common off flavors is like a a fusel alcohol, they call it. It's more like a paint stripper smell.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously, you don't want that, but that's another thing that's cool about it. Like something we can control like that.
Damn, dude, that's an extensive ass process.
Yeah, like as complicated as we can make it. It's also really simple. I mean, people make prison hooch. It's not hard to make alcohol.
Just smash some fucking fruits and
Dude,
leave them in your.
literally
Literally just that.
I mean, you could do it at home. Just get a fucking tub of fruit and water and just leave it there for like 3-4 months.
Which is basically how they make sour beers.
Exactly. And then you can drink it and it's alcoholic. It's fucking crazy that you can do it so easily. Yeah. But of course, when we're aiming for certain things, we need to control as many variables as we can.
I think for home brewing, all you really need in reality is just a kettle and like if you really want to go simple, just like a strainer bag, which what they call brew in a bag. But that's really all you need.
Yeah. And it's crazy because then we look back at our improvement in process. Like we used to do everything like in 3 gallon bucket.
It's the gallon we still use, like the mash. Yeah,
it's like 1 gallon, like a boiling pot, and now we're using 15 gallon kettles, and like there's so many different improvements that looking back we're like, damn, we're fucking dumb for doing that shit. Like we're so fucking dumb, like bro.
A lot of trial and error, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But that's the best thing about it. We were able to do trial and error with 1 gallon batches. So if anything went bad, we're like, fuck it, we'll work on it on the next one. And
yeah, because I mean, some people just go crazy and they get 5 gallon kegs and they have the whole thing like 5 taps, and which is nothing wrong with that. But like I don't have a lot of money, so it hurts less when you lose like a gallon versus 5-10 gallons.
The way it hurt, like when we made the first batch with our new system, we threw away like 3.5-4 gallons of beer.
It also depends on like the ingredients, because if let's say the wheat beer we're doing, ingredients were only like $40, right? Versus the hazy IPA that we had to throw out, the ingredients I think were like $70.
Mm-hmm.
So all the hops are expensive.
Yeah, hops are the most expensive part of the brew, right?
I would say for like per weight it is.
Yeah,
because a pound of grain is like $1, maybe $2 for like the roasty ones, which is not bad. But hops are like I think $8 an ounce.
Damn. Okay.
Especially like depending on where they're from, it's usually like around 6 to. At least the homebrew level is more expensive, obviously, because you're not buying much.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't buy in bulk, or you don't have to. But
yeah,
I mean, we could, or we used to do that at the very beginning, but we realized we weren't getting what we wanted to.
Yeah.
So we're like, we did away from that, and like let's just order what we need, brew it, and then work on the next one afterwards.
What's been your favorite beer that you've brewed so far?
It's probably between the coconut and the toasted coconut and almond porter, or the first New England IPA we did, because that one was just so good.
Oh, yeah,
like when we because we had kegged it, because I first started out with a 2.5 gallon keg, and then I bought a 3 gallon keg, and then we bought the 5 gallon keg, and that one I think when we first poured the first pours, it was just really spicy because there were still hops in there, and obviously like we didn't filter it, but once it got cleared up, it was a good beer. I really liked that.
I think the one that I really, really liked, we tried to do like a clone of a beer, but it was like it was a watermelon sea salt flavored beer.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it was a goza that we used sea salt, and it was just like watermelon puree.
Yeah, no rind. What did we use?
No, we used a puree.
Yeah,
we want to use rind now, just because it's
But yeah, that was one of my favorite one that we made. It's just like such a refreshing beer, the gozas, and the flavor is fucking bad. I just think about like go home, get a slice of watermelon, pour some salt on it, and eat that. That shit's so fucking good. Now drinking that with alcohol, it was fucking good. I enjoyed that. That's been my favorite beer that we brewed so far. I talk about it all the time, and they were like, "Let me try it." I'm like,
It's long gone.
Yeah, we drank. That was from over a year ago.
Yeah.
So like, my friends and I came up with a name for a beer if we would ever brew anything. That's called Nice by the Pool.
Mm.
Yeah. Nice by the pool, dude.
We should note down real quick.
Yeah, dude. I mean, use it. Put it to use. Like, and we were just like fucking around on that episode that we were tasting all these different beers, and we just threw it out there like, yeah, dude, fucking Nice by the Pool, and it became a thing.
It took off.
The first beer.
Nice by the Pool.
No, and that's the thing, like, because we talked about like trying to make a homebrew community, like
Give me an
being
MVP.
being able to collab, being able to like work with other people. Like we want to be able to, you know, work on and improve on, and you know, maybe like next time we homebrew, you can go with us so you can see what we do. And
Yeah, I'm down to like document some of it if that's cool with you.
yeah,
Just to kind of like, you know.
we document a lot of it in pictures though, so
Yeah.
we do have like an Instagram page.
What's the Instagram page?
So
Do you want it out there or?
Yes, actually,
Yeah, we just use it's MileZeroBrewing.
yeah.
Mile Zero?
Home Brewing.
MileZero Home Brewing.
MileZeroBrewing.
Yeah.
Oh, MileZeroBrewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the number 0, right? Not the word.
Yeah, the zero. The
The
word
word
zero.
zero.
Oh, the word 0. Oh, so
Yeah.
the whole thing spelled out.
Yeah.
MileZeroBrewing.
MileZeroBrewing.
So we'll document like the major parts in the whole process. So, yeah, like if anyone's hearing and they're saying like, you know, what the hell was that? You know, they can go on that and see. You know, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, we take pictures of a lot of the process just because. In the hops, stirring, the boiling. Sometimes like we have. I think one of my favorite pictures. There's this beer when we had just transferred it from the mash tun to the boiling pot. Like the way it looks, it's just like dark with the creamy, like slightly brown foam on top. Just the way that looked, I'm like, damn, that's a beautiful.
It looked like a hot chocolate. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's my favorite picture from the page.
Yeah.
And it just looks like I'm like, I
We
can't
try to
wait
make it look more glamorous than it is.
Yeah, but it looked fucking good, and this is what we were drinking. So
I want to fucking help E. I want to buy ingredients and be like, here, brew a beer like this. Make one for.
We can do a collab.
Right?
yeah, that's
Collab.
what we're saying. We can.
Make a collaboration.
And
Let's
then
figure out what nice by the pool means and we'll make
Yeah.
it.
Meter.
Like, what does that sound like?
It sounds like definitely something like
What do you
super
want it to be?
refreshing. I don't know. Like,
What,
well,
yeah, that's the
what
best
I
thing.
want it to be, what it's gonna be. Actually, I don't know if it's gonna be this or not. But or when we came up with the name, I was like, let's just fucking start a beer review podcast that's called Nice by the Pool. So that's one aspect of it. But what it would look like in a beer or what it would be, I don't know. I picture like something golden looking or like crisp, refreshing type. I don't know. Something that's just like easy that would be nice by the pool. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. I mean,
What do you guys think? What do you guys think when you hear that?
I don't know. Well, one thing I've always wanted to do is a strawberry, like blonde.
Oh shit!
Just because I've never had one. These sound so good.
Have I had one? I don't think I've had
'Cause
one.
they-
I felt
they
like
always have that
it was
petite-
available, but I didn't try it. You know what I mean?
Cause yeah. Uh-huh.
I think. Well, the other thing is, if you're drinking by the pool, you don't want glassware, so we don't have to worry about how it looks. But we want to get a good flavor. Yeah, but definitely like something refreshing, something you can enjoy during
Yeah.
the summer, and blondes are so light
Very
and
crushable.
like you drink the shit out of them. And we haven't really made that many heavy beers, so all the beers that we made so far are really just being
Yeah.
able to like take them back.
Well, the thing is too. I think I stray from heavy beers just because we didn't have that. I guess the capacity to I guess measure temperature or how to say like to keep the fermentation at a certain temperature. So now like
controlled fermentation.
Yeah,
pretty
thank
much.
you. I was like having a brain fart. But like our freezer that has a tap actually serves for like a dual purpose. So it has like the keg in there. We've also routed a pump in there that has like a smaller keg in there with cold water that actually runs through a coil in the fermenter. So it keeps it at a certain temperature. So right now we have the temperature set to the certain yeast we're using thrives at a temperature from 65 degrees to 72 degrees. Like I said, another variable is the temperature, which changes the beer. So when you ferment colder, you have a cleaner beer. So the yeast don't really have a chance to shine for what the actual true characteristics have. And then we're going for that Belgian wheat beer. So we got to really ferment warmer to have the yeast express itself for the actual flavors that it produces. So like 65 to 72, we're fermenting at 71, and I pitched less yeast on purpose to have them derive those flavors of banana and bubblegum and pepper. And that's one
That
thing.
sounds crazy, by the way. When is that one ready? And when can I try?
It'll probably be done it's a light beer. It'll probably be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Damn, alright.
Yeah.
Like ready to drink in 2 weeks.
And that's also like what I was going for, like in like imperial stouts and stuff. You really want to have it fermenting clean, because like a really high gravity beer like that, it's a lot of it's a lot of work for the yeast to do. So you got to pitch a lot of yeast, and you got to keep it cool because you don't want yeast can get stressed out, and they perform wrong when they're stressed out. So you have to basically satisfy their conditions so they work better, just like little employees.
I would bet people sound like yeast at work, like they're little. They can imagine like little rats. No, but it's like it's bacteria.
Yeah, it looks like man, what does it look like? Like banana pudding?
Yeah, but like
it's like this beige just goop.
Like
it's like a little
beige
packet.
yogurt, pretty much.
Yeah,
and it's crazy though because we're talking about it, but we're talking about their cell counts. Like we try to we pitched that was like it's like 1 billion.
I think per pouch. Something.
Yeah,
so
about
yeah,
1 billion.
That's what that's what you mentioned, like an Erlenmeyer flask and stuff. I'll actually have their you're basically making like a small batch of beer so that the yeast can reproduce and then multiply, and like that's a way to like you could easily just buy two pouches of yeast and just pitch them, or you can buy one, save your money, and duplicate it, and then throw your yeast in there. So that's with our new setup where we now are able to brew heavier beers, which is something that's exactly what I was talking about. The new competitions coming up. Hopefully we do good or something. We're gonna enter a Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh fuck yeah! When is that competition coming up?
I think it's August 10th. So we gotta submit it. Like that's the one after this beer that we're gonna have to do. Like right after.
No, yeah. So we had talked about that. That's why we really didn't start discussing a new beer because we knew we had that on the radar. So yeah, that's gonna be ready like in 2 weeks. Ready to drink.
The beer should be done fermenting like in 4 days, but there's still some lingering compounds in the beer that are off flavors that the yeast still go ahead and clean up. So it's very conservative. It'll be done probably in a week, 8-9 days. But after that carbonation, I can speed it up. It's from grain to glass. It's in 2 weeks.
Nice. I'm down to try it out if possible.
Break open.
Oh, you brought some more shit, right?
Yeah, this one's for you.
Cool. I'm down to try it. Oh, nice.
So
that's crazy.
This one's I think it's called the deconstruction something.
Deconstructed.
It's like
bomb.
it's 4 beers and they're all simulating like one like huge like barrel aged beer, but it's all deconstructed. So there was a one aged with chili peppers, vanilla. One was with vanilla.
That one sounds like it's the birthday bomb. Honestly, like those tones.
It might just be that one. Like, oh, I thought it was like foaming up.
No.
There's a lighter in that top drawer if you need to.
Yeah, I think one was with cacao nibs, and then this one is. Oh, this is the one with cacao nibs. Yeah. So. Yeah.
The one that you drank last night. What you said?
It was a chili pepper one. One. Yeah. Vanilla.
Dude, that one tastes crazy because I feel like I'm pretty sure. I'm like more than sure that's the birthday bomb, dude, because it has those notes like.
Maybe because this one's a deconstructed bomb. So yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, yeah.
Fuck. And that's give these snifters a rinse. And if you're at home, please prepare your own snifter and enjoy something very, very nice in there. Oh my god. Prairie Artisan Ales I think they're from Oklahoma or from Ohio, one or the other. I think it might be Oklahoma. Oklahoma? Yeah, there you go. There you have it.
Just very good.
And yeah, fucking if you ever have the pleasure of encountering the birthday bomb, it'll be fucking beautiful. Just so everyone's aware. It does have like those crazy flavors of like vanilla, some spice in it, and look at that. That's fucking.
I was about to pass it.
Check this shit out right here. This is beautiful as fuck. I'm gonna put it right in the camera's face.
You smell the booziness,
dude. Yeah. Well, so this is Imperial Stout aged in cacao nibs.
What's the percentage on it?
12.
11.8.
11.8. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
It's fucking boozy.
Cheers, gentlemen. This is thank you guys so much for bringing this one.
Yeah.
And for bringing the other one. They're both really good. The fucking. Oh my god.
I like beer.
Same. I saved a picture on on Snapchat of when I had bought the birthday bomb. Funny story about that is like I had already tried it once and I was at Specs and they had like the bottles there and I was badass packing a 6-pack
Yeah.
And then I looked at the price and I was like, holy shit. Never mind. Never mind. Let me put some of these back. They were like $9.50 per bottle. And I was like, I'll take 3. Fuck it. $27. Just 3 beers. I'm down.
Yeah.
And it was actually for my brother and his wife had just gotten a house. So I was like, I'm going to take a variety pack. And I took some of those. I took those Midas Touch one that I was telling you about, which I'm pretty sure they still have there at Specs. And I think I also introduced them to the local Buzz.
Oh,
that one's really, really good.
Fucking
Fucking golden honey ale. It was just a plethora of different beers. We got pretty hammered. It was nice. Yeah. Nice night.
That's what this alcohol does. That's the gold with the Buzz.
Fucking
That's the one that they did that they mixed 2 beers, right?
Yeah, it was a Chingon.
El Chingon and local Buzz.
I don't know.
Whoa, that sounds crazy.
I think it was that one.
That's one glass I never got.
I
wanted
did
the
remember
glass so bad.
where was it? Because we tried
We
it.
got the Guns N' Oil one. We didn't get
that's true.
we didn't get that one.
Yeah, when Cultura at the previous location, they had like,
The-
come out and
The brewing company would host like
they
a party
exactly
event.
would
Yeah.
host them, and then we went for the cups and whatnot.
But the El Super Chingon, was it?
Yeah,
That's I wanted that glass so bad.
same.
Yeah.
They should you know how they, I don't know if you know about this, but every Thursday they do like a Chicas Chingonas one where the ladies take their own
Yeah.
pints.
Mm-hmm.
Where's ours, dude?
I know.
Los Vatos Vergones or something.
It's already said. It's made.
Los pipas.
But yeah, they have that. Yeah, man.
Los Winia, what is it? I don't know. just some
Wienes
bullshit.
Wednesdays.
Oh, wait,
¿Qué onda?
oh, that's fun.
Pull up with your pint glass, get a discount, homie.
Dude,
Yo, when you have that.
that'd be fun.
El Viernes de Vergas, dude.
Viernes Verguero.
For
Damn.
everyone that doesn't understand Spanish, that means the Friday of the Dicks.
No.
Yeah, no homo, but you know, equal rights, right?
Yeah, everybody shares.
Dude, this one's a little bit in the birthday bomb one, the vanilla sticks out a little bit more, but this one I feel like it has a little bit more of like a spice to it versus
Yeah.
like the vanilla taste, right? Like some sort of chili or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one was? Because
It's so
we
good.
made a beer that came out really. Remember there was I think one of the IPAs, like a very spiciness from the hops. Like it's crazy though because you're able to get so many different flavor profiles and like just a small ingredient like hops. It's not something that people look for. It's not like you're looking for what hops this beer uses or whatnot. But
It's crazy. There's like a huge, like not encyclopedia, but there's like a laundry list, and that's one thing we do when we try to make a beer, is we'll just go based on hops, like not like the names, because I know some people get kind of like obsessed with the names, but just more of like, you know, what flavor does that hop have, and like how do you bring out that flavor, because some flavors, you know, are in certain temperatures, you know, some you have to boil the hops for a long time for it to come out.
the
Some-
floral, the spicy, the bitter, the zestiness. Oh, and I think so. When you told me something, you mentioned something earlier about trying like you could taste the zest. Like today's beer we made with orange zest. Because majority of the times we don't add like the juice or the puree of the food because it can it changes the ABV when we're trying to achieve something. So like today I was there zesting like 4 oranges as part of the process for making a beer.
and I was like right there with a molcajete,
Oh, yeah,
crushing
with-
coriander. yeah.
So it's funny. His parents were walking by. He's like, "Y'all gonna make salsa or what?" The fuck?"
Anta la carne.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, dude.
Salsa quemada, bro.
Dude, it's fucking good.
Yeah, and then we added what's called like noble hops, which are your older style classic hops, very herbally, floral, spicy, and that's more just for bittering. So there was no what's called whirlpool hops, no aroma. It's more the hops there were just more for bittering.
But yeah,
God damn it, dude. This is
It's good.
it's boozy, right? You feel that shit right away.
right away you can feel it's a little, it settles like very warm,
Yeah.
almost like if you're fucking knocking back a shot or something.
Yeah. There's a heat.
Yeah, we like talking about beer.
Same, dude,
the
same.
process
I
of
get
beer,
into
drinking
it.
beer.
Have you ever? This is a little bit outside of the beer spectrum, but still in the alcohol spectrum. I had a margarita that had like a dab of like coconut oil on the top with like a serrano chile in it.
I've never heard of that.
It was like some next level fucking.
It feels like it would linger.
yeah, like it was crazy. It was like spicy,
Where
but
was
like
this at?
on not Dirty Six, but the hipster side, East Six.
Okay.
They had like a random in Austin, by the way. I forgot the name of the bar, but it's like a cocktail place. Like you go there for the cocktails. Fucking super expensive. And
yeah.
Like,
Damn, that sounds good though.
they had probably the best old fashioned that I've ever had there. And I fucking love old fashions, dude. Like that's my jam.
Yeah.
As far as like a cocktail goes.
Yeah. That's badass.
I think it was like $15-$16 for one.
No, I mean, I don't think.
I don't know if it's that badass. No, but it's very
Better be badass.
Yeah, it was super worth it. Like, fucking, I don't know. It was just I had an old fashioned there. I had that margarita. I didn't even order it. A friend of ours that was there, she had ordered it, and she was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" So like, we all just kind of like took a little sip on that.
Let's try it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was fucking good, dude. I was like, "Damn, all right, this is some next level shit." You know, like when they have a Serrano Chile in the thing, you're like, "What the fuck are you expecting from that?" But it had a nice kick to it, and the little like dab of coconut oil that like and it settles on top, right? Because it's oil.
Oil. Yeah.
So like, it goes well with like that spiciness.
Yeah,
It was
That's
weird.
weird.
Super weird.
That's cool though.
Like that's something I've never heard of done for some margarita. That's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and
cool,
I
it
need
was
to try that shit at home. Fuck
Yeah, I appreciate that
Figure
though,
out how to
because
make it, yeah.
they go crazy with ingredients, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And also at another, this was at the Pearl Brewery in San Antonio. There's this place called Blue Box inside the Pearl Brewery, and that's also like a cocktail spot. And they have one that is called Pretentious Quips, and I think it's like a gin-based cocktail, if I'm not mistaken.
A gin based?
Gin-based.
Oh,
Yeah.
gin. Okay.
Gin, yeah.
I'll fucking try it then.
Yeah.
Gin's my go-to liquor. So.
Oh, real shit?
Yeah.
You're about that paint thinner life?
Dude, I fucking
That's real paint thinner, dude. Like, fuck,
I mean,
my
it's fucking
God.
good. Like,
The Sapphire, the Bombay Sapphire.
Yeah, Bombay Sapphire.
That one, it feels like you're taking a sip out of perfume or something. Like, it's super aromatic, but like, good luck, bro. Good luck.
Dude, it's fucking good though. Like, cause my favorite
it's not
drink.
not that it's not good.
Yeah.
I'm saying good luck because it's strong as.
That's I don't know why I enjoy it so much already, but I got put on it not too long ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Before that, I never touched gin. I mean, just because I didn't know how to drink it, what to drink it with. But then I started like gin and tonics. But then I really like just
G&T.
Yeah, G&T. But I really like just gin martinis. Like a lot of people know martinis with vodka, but my go-to is gin martinis and like a little dirty, extra olives in that bitch. Ooh-wee.
What's in a gin martini? No, it's just straight up gin, isn't it? It's like a shot of gin.
What's like a gin? I think they use like vermouth, Worcestershire.
Is the T before the C? I don't know.
That and olive juice.
That sounds crazy.
It's fucking good. I love that. That's like my go-to drink whenever. Yeah, but I mean, I love olives though. And now like space them out, or I think last time I was at Cultura, I drank something, and I'm like, can I have a shit ton of olives? They're like, yeah, of course, here, bro. Fucking happy.
I was at a bar with my cousin and her husband, and he's like super into olives also, and we were bar hopping downtown, and we went from Escobar to On the Rocks, and they're really like good friends with the bartender at On the Rocks, so like he knows what's up. He got him like a fucking big old one of those plastic cups of like olives with like lemon pepper or something on it, and like I don't know what else, but it was fucking good. I mean, not that I don't like olives, but that was just like what, like
next level.
Yeah, it was like a badass little drunk snack, I guess, a bar snack, whatever.
Yeah.
Damn, what was it? So at Cultura, I recently tried like what is it called? Like Cubano?
Oh, you were telling me about it.
Is it the Clamato Cubano? No, not. But it's because. So my thing is I don't like Clamato. So when people
you don't like Clamato,
I don't like.
I've never had one.
Really?
I wanted to try one craft beer.
So I don't like celery. Of all the things that like I cannot put up with the celery. It's the one thing that I cannot put up.
but it's like tomato and clam juice.
Well, I don't know what the fuck is
Is
in
it
it.
clam juice?
Well, I mean, it's called Clamato because it's clam and tomato.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a lot of these revelations.
Dude, like, hey, right? We were talking to earlier. We were talking about Austin Eastsiders. She's like,
Oh, it was cool.
shit.
Like East Side.
Yeah,
East
Side Austin.
I'm like, oh But yeah, so they have the Cubano. What is the?
I think that's what you called it.
The Michelada Cubano.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit was fucking good because it's the same thing as a Michelada without clamato or the tomato juice. And I abhor the fucking celery, and I feel like clamato has celery like flavor in it.
Residue.
And I fucking tried it though. I don't know. But I fucking don't. But it's always on the pictures, and they always that's how they
like they put it.
Michelada.
That's how they dress it. I don't think it's part of the flavor profile.
I don't know, but I mean, I guess I just don't like clamato, and because I've tried it. I've tried it so many different times, different weights.
Give me some clamato, bro. I'm fucking super down.
Because I've tried it with like beer, with tequila, with like a
Bloody Mary,
with vodka, a Bloody Maria with tequila. And I just don't like it. It's not my shit. But they had that Cubano, the Michelada Cubano which is the same thing as a Michelada with clamato, just without clamato. I fucking enjoy that shit. I drank like 3 of them at Cultura. My friends were like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Fucking try it, bro. I just fucking found that out. I just found out this exists today." And then like a couple of them started drinking it. It was fucking good. I haven't gone since, unfortunately.
Make a badass clamato, man, with like some lemon, some fucking Worcester sauce.
it sounds better than whatever I try to say.
Yeah, all that other shit. It's fucking good, dude. Even without like the alcohol in it, like I'm down to just have one like that. Like I've had it before. Throw a little Tabasco in there for the spice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's weird. No, I went to like some bar in Houston. They had like a Michelada bar. You just go and make your own Michelada. They had like fucking pork, bacon, a bunch of fruits.
Okay, that's crazy shit.
They had like a bunch of crazy shit. You could just toss everything in your Michelada. And the thing is, it looks,
of chorro later,
dude. But it's because it looks so fucking good. Like I admire how it looks. Like it does look like it's refreshing, the flavor, and then all the
looks good. They make it look good.
But I just
like it looks so good. I haven't tried it, but I would love to just pour some over some ceviche.
Oh,
dude, Escobar. They have the ceviche is
right?
like fucking top notch, man.
Yeah, try it, man.
Pull up. Yeah. It's on right where On the Rocks is. You know that little walkway or right there.
Parkway?
Yeah,
Tatangelo Parkway.
Tantan Carmangelo.
Something like it's definitely that sounds about right.
Tangelo.
It's right.
Tangelo. Isn't it Tangelo? Who knows? Who cares? Just go. It's cool.
Yeah. It's on San Agustin Avenue. So whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've been to Escobar like twice. And it was crazy because it was like on a Friday, Saturday night and everybody was drinking. I saw people eating ceviche. I'm like, I can bring your own snacks in here?
No, yeah. Like it's literally, I think it's called Escobar Ceviche and Tapas or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah. And I found out after the fact. I think it was the first time. I think I was there for the bar crawl for
St.
Patrick's Day.
I was like Thanksgiving, but there was one else on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, dude, I had a fucking blast downtown. I love that Laredo downtown. Like nightlife is growing there. I had a fucking blast. And it was just me and one coworker. That's how we started it out, and we just started meeting people. We're like, hey, y'all doing the bar crawl? Yeah. Let's link up.
Where'd y'all start at? Like, what's the path?
So, we started at the tech room, actually. The tech room, the restaurant. And it was actually, we walked in and we're like, we're here for the bar crawl. They're like, oh, okay. What would you like to drink? I'm like, oh, I thought y'all had like specials just for this evening. And they're like, no, but we got like some drink specials in general. We're like, oh, fuck it. So we started drinking there. I think my first drink of the night was a fucking gin martini. And I'm like, oh, this is good, whatever. But then as I walked out, I'm like, I should not do that for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you're gonna be fucking hammered.
We made 14 stops, 14 different.
Holy shit.
What? Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. That's fucking badass. So then we went from the tech room to the Zaragoza Grill, which is the one in La Posada. So we got a drink there, and then we went down the street. And they had like a patio that they organized for the for the St. Patrick's event. They had like live music. They had a bar, and so we went in there. And then from there we went to Siete Banderas. From Siete Banderas we went to House of Whiskey. We went to House of Whiskey, and then we went to On the Rocks. When we were on the Rocks, it was just me and my coworker. When I was at Siete, I hit up my cousin like, "Hey, bro, we're gonna fucking bar crawl." it's gonna be fucking fun. I didn't know if it really was gonna be, but it turned out it was. But yeah, I told him, hey, pull up, man, let's go. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. He picked us up. We went to Cultura, started carving up because we were going to keep drinking the entire night. So we got a drink there, carved up, and then we went back to Escobar. No, we went to Escobar. So when we stayed at Escobar for a while, then my friends, I linked up with my cousin. We're at Cultura. We linked up with 3 other people. We made great friends at night. And then they went to Siete Bandera. Then they went to House of Whiskey, caught up with us at Escobar. And then we kept going down It Street, yeah.
Do you notice when we, I don't mean to interrupt your story, I'm sorry.
No,
but like,
go ahead.
Fucking,
I felt like I was
Street,
going on.
On It Street, I remember when they were trying to like come up with the thing, I was like, you know what would be fucking dope if on across the street from Siete Banderas where that parking lot is, they just did like a giant mural of like Pennywise. Like, you know, just because it's It Street, it's kind of like just peeking out like that.
That'd be
fucking
like,
dude,
dope.
that would be fucking bad. It's like, this is It Street, boy.
Dude,
what's up?
That'd be cool.
We need to get in contact with local artists who do
For
graffiti, man, and approve it. I'm not saying to do
Get it approved, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
I'm
course.
sure that it will.
I have a
don't
good
see
friend of
why it
mine from
wouldn't.
Monterrey who does like graffiti. He's been around Laredo and he's gone to Austin for like graffiti art.
What's his tag name?
Sailor?
Oh, okay, never mind. Fuck. No, never mind.
Sailor. He's a fucking funny ass cat.
Sailor Moon?
No, I don't know. It's Sailor. Like he has like, I've always looked at, he has this one video where he was like what do you call it? They had it was a whole like 10-minute video just about him wearing a mask, like putting on like a show like for the video while he did like his art. And it's fucking crazy because he was wearing like some random ass crazy mask, I think it was like a rabbit mask.
Oh, shit.
And it was the video. There's like some background. It was a badass video.
Fucking Donnie Darko shit.
Yeah, something like along those lines or something. But it was a fucking badass video, and it showed his work. It showed him his character, and I thought it was like a great like development of
like a time lapse. Like a time lapse.
It's like a time lapse, but more. The word I'm trying to go for is like
an expose.
Exactly, like expose of him, like presenting him to like the rest of the world in terms of what flexing what he's available, what he is about in the community of graffiti.
That's badass.
But yeah, that'd be a fucking great idea. Do it next to that wall, right?
Because it's like right when you turn into Iturbide, it's the first thing you see, the wall of that fucking little parking lot.
That's right. That's the wall next to like House of Whiskey, right?
I think. Well, because it's like literally Siete Banderas, and then across the street there's a little parking lot for them.
Oh no, yeah, you're talking. Yeah, you're
like right at the very entrance.
Okay.
Like, you know,
I was thinking like a bit, like half a block down. There's like
another. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking about. No, but yeah, you're right. That particular spot would be perfect because that's where pretty much everybody pulls over.
And it's a giant white fucking blank piece, dude. That should be done. It would be super badass. I have a friend of mine that I met actually through like the podcast. He's an artist. When I say artist, it's funny because like I say it and then I think like that could mean anything, like a musician, all this other shit. But I mean like literally like he does paintings and all that. Oh, okay. And he recently had an art exhibit, and you can follow his Instagram page, Ozotso, Ozotso.
Yeah, I saw his episode here,
dude, and his artwork is fucking badass. It's like Japanese inspired and shit, and it's fucking legit. Like I want to buy one of the pieces, but I was like, fuck, I don't have enough money to pay you for what it's worth because it's fucking legit. Yeah. I want to put something up from him, but it's fucking awesome, dude. It's like he has one of the main pieces. If you go to his Instagram, like for people that are watching, go check it out. And I think it's Ozotso TX, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever, but check it out. It like the first one that he posted from that exhibit is like a poster. Did you guys ever hear about that anime Akira? Yeah. Okay, so he did like you know how they had like the thing for the promotion thing? I said like Akira and then like a bunch of whatever. He did that on a canvas, and it looks fucking super sick, dude. I was like, cool. I fucking want that. Easily worth like thousands of dollars, I would say. I was like, fuck, I don't have that money to pay you, but like, give me a small print version of it. I'll put it up. Yeah,
support you spiritually.
Yeah, if I had that type of bank to throw around, for sure, I'd be like, here.
Yeah,
save that one for me.
For real, man. I mean, it's awesome to have like the local artists, like because we talk about this all the time. How you have like so many of the local artist community on here, and it's great because like I know I want to learn more about the local community, local artists. Like when I found out about you, how your brothers, the Dos Leones. I mentioned to you that my cousin is in a group. I forgot the name of my cousin's group. That sounds kind of like I'm a right? Like I'm the asshole here. But Hanus, Hanus, Hanus. So Hanus, yeah. That so, like, I've gone to see him once. He performed at the records where they sold the records.
Oh, Second Chance.
Second Chance, yeah. I went to go see him once there. They took some type of hiatus. Now they're back, so I do want to be able to. I say a lot of things now, like I'm planning to do
It's
all
like,
the things.
motherfucker, you moved to Austin,
Like,
son.
yeah,
What are you
exactly.
talking
Like,
about?
I'm not about to move to Austin, but it's fun though because like when I started watching your podcast, I started knowing more about local artists and the artist community. I think my previous exposure before this had been like the Border Slam.
Oh yeah,
The poetry Border Slam.
yeah. And we actually had the founder Julia Orduña. She was on one of the episodes that episode went super deep. It was prior to when we started doing the whole video platform or video for the podcast, but that episode was crazy, man. It was pretty deep, and that's actually one of my favorite episodes. And if you go back to it, I forgot what number it is because we're close to hitting episode 100, dude. But I think this is 98 or 97.
Ooh.
Yeah,
You're almost 100.
dude, for real, yeah.
We should have postponed it.
Like, wait, when it's episode 100,
Like,
let's
you want a beer or not?
and I'm thinking about collabing with like some people here to make it like a little bit of an event. I spoke to Chris from Cultura, but just very like in passing or whatever. So nothing's set in stone just yet. But
for sure.
yeah, but he was like, yeah, man, let's link up or whatever. And plus, I have this new thing that I'm trying out where it's called Fourth Dimension Fridays, and it's once every Friday of the month, the first Friday of every month, a live podcast with it's like very much so a conspiracy based podcast, but every different episode of it is like a different conspiracy theory, right? So the first one is going to be on Friday, June 7th at Boogaloo from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And so it's going to be like the live podcast. We're going to have like some, free adult beverages for everyone that's of age and everything. So that's going to be going on. And if, depending on the success of it, which so far I haven't really pushed it too much as far as like the putting it out there and everything, it's been very much so based on like the social media. That's the driving factor as of right now. So, these last couple of weeks, as we get closer, I'm going to start putting it a little bit more out there, like in other forms, like traditional, and see how far I can extend the reach. But if it gets a good turnout, which hopefully it will, I'm trying to make it like a monthly thing on the first Fridays of every month, just to have like another thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, let's fucking go do that. Like,
stay busy living or stay busy dying. Yeah, man, I love I love that you're doing that. Like, going out there and trying to do more because, I mean, people love talking about conspiracies. People love talking about art. There's you're able to hit all these different aspects of what people enjoy hearing. And if I were moving to Austin, I'd definitely be there at the live podcast because that's something different too. That being able to have that live audience, like kind of like a night show, pretty much. And that'd be fucking badass.
So if you're not doing anything and you're listening right now, just check that shit out. It's on our Facebook page and everything. And like I mentioned, this first one I want to make it free. Eventually, maybe there might be like an entry fee, maybe like $2-3, nothing crazy, but just to test the waters and see what the reception is on that, and hopefully we get a good turnout just so we can keep that shit going. But it's been getting pretty good feedback as far as like and it's been strictly only through Facebook that I've and for those that are listening, like, I've been plugging it on the past couple of shows, but I don't know, man, it's pretty exciting, pretty scary at the same time. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to say the least, and super huge shout out to Boogaloo, man, for agreeing to let me do it there. They were the first option that I had, just because I felt like they have you ever been to Boogaloo?
Yes, actually I have.
You been to Boogaloo?
Yeah.
Dude, it's such a nice venue. Like it's so aesthetically pleasing. Like it's the wood, it feels so like, I don't know, like it just has like a nice vibe to it. And the show itself, we're gonna be in the secondary room. So like for those that have been, when you go up the stairs, it's gonna be the first room to the right, right there. That's the second. We're gonna be using that space to hopefully it gets packed out to we're like, fuck, we're gonna have to use the main room.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm aiming for that. But as on this first, the lineup is like the podcast starts at 8. It runs all the way to like right before 10, and then from like 9:50 to 11 is the musical performances. And I'll be featuring local music acts. This first one, it's a little bit of a mix of different genres. We have Jay Zilla or JV. He's a hip hop artist from Laredo. We have Innocent Android, just a little bit more like punk type, I guess you can call it. Punk pop punk maybe. I don't know. I might be classifying it wrong. I'm sorry, Innocent Android, if you hate me for that. And
My
then
bad.
and then we're gonna end the night with Dos Leones,
Nice.
capping it off. So
Dope.
that's the first one. And then I haven't come up with the main topic yet. So
I was about to ask, like, what's gonna be your
Yeah.
your point of conversation?
I
That
don't
night?
know. So the premise of it, besides like that format specifically, it'll be like a panel of people. So I'll obviously be hosting it, and I want to have like maybe 3 to 4 other people on the panel. And so far as of right now, the lineup for the panel is like Gabe Rodriguez from Por Vida, Jeff Castillo, Digital Jeff, Rick Matamoros. If you've heard him on my podcast, that motherfucker is super duper, just smart, like crazy smart. And I'm trying to get one of the artists from the acts to be on the panel as well.
Okay.
If not, we'll just stick to the 4. But yeah, like it'll be. I want to have like a rotating panel. You know, like people that are down and want to like just talk some crazy shit. And I saw your eyes light up when I mentioned conspiracy theories. So
Yeah, it's just so easy to go down that rabbit hole on YouTube.
Oh,
for real,
Yeah,
dude, it all.
video that shit, bro. Like you go there, like I've been up to like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm like, I need to keep engulfing myself in this information.
I'm too scared to go to sleep now.
Dude.
There's no turning back now,
what else are
baby.
they hiding from me? I need to
For
fucking
real.
learn. I need to prepare myself.
I remember for me, like it really started back in high school. I graduated 2011, but around that time it was like, I guess YouTube was still relatively new. It probably like been only like 5 or 6 years since it was around.
Mhm.
So like the content on it was very.
People weren't making that YouTube money. Like
No, they definitely weren't, but they were
Yeah.
still putting up like crazy content. And I remember the biggest thing then was like the Illuminati and all that shit. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was
Freemasons
dude, going down the rabbit hole on that, man. Crazy.
Finding out all the presidents with like all this, the linking between
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, they're like all fucking like 3rd, 4th, 5th cousins. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? It's so crazy. And I don't know how real this is, but I'm subscribed to this channel. It's called Nuke's Top 5, and they just have like a bunch of different. I think like every week we'll post like a new shit, like top 5 this, top 5 that. But it's mostly like paranormal or scary conspiracy shit.
Yeah.
There's one from one of the most recent posts where it's like a video in Russia of. They have like this huge it's like imagine like just a party or like a fundraiser, I guess, like, so a bunch of rich politicians, all this crazy shit. And as the band's performing, the lights go out, and when the lights go out, like a lot of fucking random people in the crowd, like their eyes are glowing in the shot of the camera. Like, have you ever seen the movie They Live?
I don't think so.
No? Please watch that movie. It's fucking good. It's an old movie. Fucking Roddy Piper comes out and shit.
Oh.
It's like it's an 80s movie from John Carpenter.
Like that name is
Yeah.
throwing way back.
For real, dude. Fucking. But anyway, so like in the video, I'll post it in the show notes for everyone listening. It's like, it's crazy because not only like the camera people from the band, but like other people in the crowd are like recording with their phones, and the lights go out, dude, and you see clearly like some of these people, like their eyes like shine back like a cat would, or like a dog, like when you shine light against them or whatever. And everyone freaked out, and they're like, what the fuck? And they talked to the front man of the band, and he gets interviewed after that, and he was like, now after we saw that shit, there was like so many glowing eyes in the crowd, we were like, fuck that, and we just like stopped playing and left. Like, we jetted
When
after
the
that.
fuck did this happen?
Fairly recently. It was in Russia. Yeah.
Crazy shit
That's
happening in
creepy.
Russia.
Dude,
Dude,
I'm gonna sleep tonight. I'm gonna be like trying to look that up.
Reptilians, dude.
Yeah,
Have you gone down that rabbit hole?
yes,
Oh my god, the shapeshifters,
I
dude.
just saw a video like somebody shared it on Facebook, and it was just recording a random like politician or something, and like their eye just like closes, or like the pupil closes individually from the eyelid. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, some creepy shit, dude.
I don't know. It's just scary.
I remember, like I think when it was the Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second one. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the second one, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene where the little girl, her eyes do some weird shit. And I saw it with my homie at the theater. Not even anywhere else. Like, we saw it at the theater. And I was like, did you fucking see that? Or was that me? Like, and like, am I drunk or what's going on? Like, what the fuck was that? But it I don't know, some weird shit. And so many videos of like the news ones, dude. Those are the ones that get me, where they're just like that, and then like their face is like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
that's so weird. But
I don't know.
goddamn,
man. Anytime I read, I like reading a lot, so I'm always like trying to what's new, like but like the whole conspiracy theories, like the reptilian ones, is just fucking insane. Of course, some people are
go
out
a little
there.
bit too, a little bit too much.
They get really into it, and you're like, you had me for the first half of that, but
you had me the first 30 minutes of your video were super
Yeah,
interesting.
and
After that, you just went downhill. Like, have you ever heard of David Icke?
no.
No, I
Okay,
haven't
look,
heard.
I'll let y'all fucking, if whenever you have the time, or if you're bored, just go down that rabbit hole, and it's fucking crazy. Another one in like the whole reptilian relation thing, the lead singer from Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan.
I've heard of him.
You know,
Yeah.
you know who he is, right? So he was on JRE like a year and a half ago, more or less, and Rogan calls him out. He's like, dude, so like there's a story that you shared on Howard Stern about like you witnessed someone like shapeshift or whatever, and he was like, tell me about that. And Billy's like, yeah, well, I was talking to someone. 1 second they're like a normal looking human, and then they were not. And he just says it like that, and then Rogan's like, fuck you mean they were not? Like, elaborate.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, like I don't even want to talk about it, but it's gonna be in my book. Like, if you guys really want to know about it, like, read it. But and I looked a little bit further into it. I was like, what the fuck? Look, so if you didn't talk about it there, let me look up the Howard Stern one.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he doesn't really even go into it any more detail than he did with Rogan, but he essentially says that he's like I know how it sounds, and I don't really like talking about it because like I feel like people are gonna be like, what the fuck, like, you're crazy. But I was literally like talking to someone, and in front of, like, face to face, and then they all of a sudden they weren't human, and I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah,
That's fucking crazy,
and I'm
dude.
like, what?
Like,
You don't just say that, like.
It's because so the thing about that is like that you always hear about, like the real things that some people talk about gets clouded by all the other people just throwing shit against the wall, against fans trying to see if something sticks. But when you have something like you would consider credible, who was not like would be considered crazy, someone who's famous, who's known, who has nothing to gain from
exactly. Like, why would he even tell that story?
Yeah, why would
like,
he make shit like that up? Like,
yeah, he owns the WWE and shit or whatever. Like,
So
he
like-
has everything to
lose.
Yeah,
exactly. He has
Yeah.
everything to lose. He should be afraid of talking about things like that, but he's not. So like, man,
I don't know, man. Just creepy shit. So going back to like what this first one might be about. So there's a couple of topics that we've been throwing around, and I'm planning on meeting tomorrow with some of the people from the panel and just to spitball some shit. But we're looking. One of the things that I kind of want to get into is like death cults, like Mexican death cults or whatever, like La Santa Muerte and all that type of shit.
That'd
And
be
then and like the whole Aztec rituals and all that, just to kind of explore that topic, right? But that's just one thing. I don't know. And originally it was supposed to launch on the weekend of Cinco de Mayo, so I was gonna go in that route either way, but more so just focused on like the origins of like the Mayans and the Aztecs, which they come from this previous civilization called the Olmecs, and that's just what people call them. That's not really like what they were known as in their time, but they just vanished. Like, they were there, all of a sudden they had like fucking statues, cities and everything, and then they just disappeared, and the Aztecs and the Mayans just moved into like their structures.
they took over.
Yeah. But
Like one of those vanishing civilizations type of deal.
Like, what were they doing that they got outed?
I don't know, man. And a lot of it, a lot of new science that's coming out with like, back in the 90s, like mid 90s, there was a discovery of this megalithic site in Turkey it's called Göbekli Tepe, and it's dated to around the time where supposedly, as in our classical timeline or whatever, humans are supposed to be like hunter gatherers. So
Like that Neanderthal era type of deal.
a little bit after that, like we're mostly just I think like Neanderthal is like a different subset of like the Homo sapien, but
Mm-hmm.
we're already humans, like, or the current version of of ourselves, like as a species,
Yeah.
but we're not supposed to. I mean, as far as like the classical timeline or the mainstream timeline is accepted, like humans weren't at that time. They should not have had the capabilities for like agriculture or, let alone like constructing a megalithic site, right? Because that would imply that you have to have like a societal structure and everything, and
a lot of organization.
Yeah. And they date that back to around the end of the last ice age, and a lot of science behind this theory, where it really starts with when a couple of archaeologists, I think it's geologists, Dr. Robert Schoch and John Anthony West, they go to the Sphinx and they're like, nah, the Sphinx is actually like really fucking old. It has water erosion. Damn. So the last time that there was water, in the amount to be able to erode the Sphinx, right, or the encasing of the Sphinx, was like fucking 20,000 years ago, which is like, again, we're not supposed to be able to do that shit, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That shouldn't have been around at that time. Because we didn't have
the ability to do that, and so the whole idea behind it is that there was like a lost chapter of our timeline, because around that time there was a weird amount of like global cataclysms that had happened. One of the theories, Dr. Robert Schoch, is that there was a crazy solar event that triggered like a fucking magnetic pole reversal, and just imagine lightning storms, but the way that rain falls, like in that amount, lightning strikes all over the planet, like that amount. That's
where'd you read about this?
I heard it mostly from JRE. Actually, Dr. Robert Schoch was on one of the most recent episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten my hands on any of his literature just yet, but I initially started with, I randomly found this book by Graham Hancock in some Barnes and Noble in Dallas. And he's also like a proponent of that type of idea, where there's like a forgotten timeline of human civilization because of a global cataclysm that wiped out that version of society. And there's like evidence to hold that up now because of like these megalithic findings and more evidence across the planet of like a cataclysm, whether it be
that coincides with the timeline that they've established.
Exactly.
You said the monolithic cities in Turkey.
Yeah.
And then it might coincide. It relates to the.
It relates to when the polar ice caps started melting at the end of the last ice age. It's a period known as like the Younger Dryas, somewhere between like 11 to 12,000 years ago, and the dating of like when that site was constructed is around that time.
Damn.
So
it's fucking deep, bro.
Dude, it's fucking super crazy.
I like reading about crazy shit, like just trying to like get information. I mean, I've never heard about this, so
it's ridiculous because that's from the mid 90s, that discovery.
Yeah.
And it's not talked about. It's like, oh, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And if you listen to like, I would go back to those episodes of JRE. For those of y'all that haven't, there's the Dr. Robert Schoch, that's one of them. It was fairly recent, probably like a couple of months ago. Graham Hancock was on like about a month ago, talking about the new book that he's putting out. And then previous to that, like a couple years back, Graham Hancock and Randall Carlisle, and Randall Carlisle is like also a geologist. So he's like, these are fucking accredited people.
Yeah.
That are looking at human history in like a different sense, but.
That's insane.
It just, for me, I feel like it's fucking important because it just changes like what we came from and where we're going to. So
yeah, I've always felt that we've been given less credit as human beings just because of like the Industrial Revolution and how we think like that's where it all happened, where we became smart or like we became a civilization, whatever. But I'm more than sure there was like stuff that we don't know.
I mean, like, yeah, like technically speaking, like we've been this version of human, like our anatomy has been this way for about 250,000 years. Right? So like we've had the mental capacity to be able to accelerate to where we are right now for 250,000 years.
It's insane to assume that
it only just happened.
We were only smart enough to changed the world in the last 50, 100 years.
And if you look at the amount that we've changed it within the last 50 years, it's like fucking super ridiculously exponential. Like,
yeah,
it is.
What the fuck?
So then, and that goes with like the non-credibility of humans, because you'll go back to like these civilizations that they're implementing these mathematics and science and all this stuff, but they'll automatically go to like, oh, they were being held by another force or something.
Like an exterior force,
type of
ancient astronaut theory.
But
like,
it's just like they're not given the credit that they deserve, because we've been, like you said, we've had this model for thousands and thousands of years, but like we've had the capability of doing it. Like of course, maybe they did something with it.
Yeah.
And another weird thing about that, and this is just I normally going down several different rabbit holes, but 90% of the DNA that makes up a human is traceable to common ancestors that are found on this planet. The remaining 10% of our DNA doesn't come from anything on this planet.
Damn, I never heard of that either.
Yeah, they call it like junk DNA, but they really just mean that it's not traceable to any
it's not
common
accountable.
ancestor. Yeah,
You can't really trace it back.
That's actually something I was learning like towards the latter part of school. It's they've only really gotten down certain functions of certain like genes and like sequences that they know that's what does that, and everything else, like you said, is junk DNA. But junk just because we still don't know what it is, or like what it's for, like what it alters in our system.
We haven't really figured it out.
Yeah, because there's not a lot. Like it's booming right now, genetics, and like the next 50 years, like something's gonna happen crazy.
Yeah, like CRISPR's been around for like 10-15 years already, and it's already pretty creepy what you can do.
It's already being in use in like in China or something like that.
Yep,
they're going against like ethical things that they're doing.
We don't give a fuck. We're China.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So it can get pretty crazy, but anyways, like all of these.
You're talking about the gene altering, right?
Yeah. Like I guess changing certain traits and stuff.
Yeah, like or fucking emphasizing certain traits versus others and what have you, which I mean, like theoretically can be helpful, but then like we're
the ethical line is blurred there, because it goes back to like
we enter that level.
Like are we allowed? Should we be allowed to do that? But I mean,
like where does the law like start?
Yeah, and like who is the law? Who is to decide what can and what should and shouldn't be done?
Because then if you already have like the capability of altering your genetic code, which I mean that's like how radiation cancer works. It just start like dismantling your DNA. Like if you have that knowledge out in the public, then that's susceptible to get into like the wrong hands, and
definitely
it's who's to stop somebody from getting that knowledge 50 years down the road and using it for like something harmful
for the wrong motherfucking reason.
Well, yeah, dude, and use it like it becomes a new type of war, just the way everything.
New method of war,
genetic warfare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine like being able to plant a gene in a different country that the U.S., China doesn't like, and this gene is just gonna
or plant a gene in your main crop that you all use, and then later down the road it goes on to you.
Or create a company that removes the seeds out of fucking plants and vegetables so that you can't make your own, and they're the only ones that have the seeds. Oh wait, that's already real.
Yeah.
It's kind of controller. Yeah.
That's called Monsanto.
Monsanto, dude,
genetically modified crops. And so I mean, and the reason why all of these topics again will probably be subjects of like subsequent podcasts with the Fourth Dimension Fridays, just to kind of give people a wider view on life and break out of the fucking matrix that we live in.
That's awesome.
Aren't they making a Matrix or something? Or was that just in my dream?
Like a movie or like a legitimate Matrix?
No, like a movie.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was like,
I haven't seen that video.
I was like, well, technically, they're gonna start uploading your consciousness to the cloud, and next thing you know, that already happened previously, and this is that version of life.
They're already taking your DNA for all those people doing the 23andMe.
Fucking, you heard it first on that one show, American Horror Story.
Dude, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like, and I think what I was gonna mention earlier at one point, I'm like, but it's crazy that when you find out that you don't know so much, like there's so much we don't know. It's like a double layered, like. You can think about the things like, oh, I don't know about that, and you accept that because that exists, like that topic, that group, the existence of home brews, existence of sports, people that play certain sports. But then you think about, that's only what I do know. It's like, imagine all the different types of niche groups or information technology and that I have no idea that they even exist.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's scary. It's fucking scary. But we gotta make do.
it's scary only because humans have it.
What is it? It's like naivety is bliss.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Sometimes the less you know,
the better. But I mean, I don't know. Like it's.
But for the people that like living,
it gets really crazy, dude. And I've Rick. When I met Rick, I was like super blown away by just the amount of different shit that he knows, and like from the background that I've gotten to know him. He was like a biochemist for the government for a while or some shit like that. Fucking okay, so that's already like one level of craziness, right?
Yeah.
And every now and then he'll just send me a message like, "Yo, Josh, check this shit out," and it's just like, "Whoa, do I want to click this link or not? Like, am I ready for this shit
now?"
Yeah,
for real, dude.
Yeah. For real. But one of the biggest things that like is I feel like people don't pay attention to is the couple of times that Alex Jones has been on JRE, and I keep bringing up JRE because I feel like that's the biggest fucking platform of our time right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of shit goes down on that. And the couple of times that Alex Jones has been on JRE, they literally fact check this motherfucker as he's speaking, and everything he's saying is true. Like, what the fuck? That's why I'm like, I don't understand how. I get it. Like he's a bit of a fucking character. He's very loud. He does say crazy shit. But if you go back to those two episodes, 9/11 and then the most recent one that he had, holy shit, like he was like, yeah, dude, fucking China's been making Camaras and all this other shit. Check this shit out, MIT, all this other shit. And then they literally put it up and like, yeah, they were doing like pig human hybrids back in the 60s or some stupid shit like that. Like, what the fuck?
He was also saying that in the Joe Rogan? But yeah, and they were fact checking him and everything was like correct.
Yeah,
because he was like almost, he was like his dad or something was like all
part of he was like some sort of like spook or some shit, like part of the government. So since he was a kid, he was around all that type of shit, and he does go off the rails and add like his own twist into it. The higher he gets, literally, he get high on the show. But the like a lot of the shit that he talks about is, they fact check him. He was the one to expose the whole Bohemian Grove thing. Let's not forget about that. He was literally the person that snuck onto that place where fucking presidents, heads of like giant companies, they all go and perform like this crazy ritual mock sacrifice thing to a giant effigy of an owl, the old god Moloch. Like, this is real.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
For real? The Bohemian Grove, bro. Like, dude, I'm real Illuminati.
Taking a lot of mental notes about shit that I need to fucking research, because I do not want to get blindsided like this ever again.
No, yeah, man. And Alex Jones was the one that uncovered all that shit. And like, he was, I don't know, he's always been like, I get it. He's a fucking character. Really crazy. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, when they go on these different tangents, people like to latch on to, he was wrong about this. So I'm like, yeah, but all of that is what he does end up being true. Like, you should focus on that a lot more rather than just trying to discredit
the idea
him
versus like the whole timeline that he's describing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's insane.
And I don't know. That's what was crazy and was scary. And to me, honestly, like, I've been a fan of the Joe Rogan Experience for a while. And when I started listening to it, he was barely like on episode like 600 or something like that. And right now he's like on episode 1,200.
Yeah.
And it's been like 3-4 years already that I've started listening to it. And I've noticed one of the weird things that happened around when he hit like episode 1,000 or so, like after the first Alex Jones episode.
Silenced or what?
I don't know, bro. Different. Super different.
Like, he teeters over. He doesn't really like agree with anything, but he's more like just hearing you out.
Yeah. And again, it could be a couple of different things, right? It could just be him learning more as he talks to all these people that are like, he says they're smarter than him and everything. But one of the most interesting episodes after it's like episode 1,000 some. It's with one of his good friends, Duncan Trussell, and he confronts him about it. He's like, dude, like I feel like you're too big, man. Like they're gonna approach you or something if they haven't already. Like I don't know. Like we can't just keep talking about like Hillary Clinton and all this other shit. But he kind of says it jokingly around. But if you watch the episode with like that, like in that mindset, he deflects a lot of that. Like he doesn't even like acknowledge it. He's just like, yeah, whatever. Like. You know what I mean?
Knowing him, like, because you've seen his show for so long, you know he's not the kind of person to deflect conversations like that. He's willing to go down these fucking rabbit holes on his shows, on his episodes, and like to have that change, like you just never know.
Yeah.
Like he might have been approached, and he just
maybe I don't
just
know,
for his own good. Maybe like you never know what they talk to you about and. Shit.
And the funny part is that like that second episode that Alex Jones was back on, as he's explaining everything, Rogan's like elaborates on it, and he's like, "You see, motherfucker, you know all this shit. Why aren't you talking about it?" Like,
I think I think that's the most recent one I saw.
Yeah, that's the one where he's like, "You see," and Alex Jones gets pissed. He's like, "Motherfucker, like you know more than I do, or as the same shit that I do, and you never talk about it."
I think that's the one they made all the memes from.
Yeah, because he was like, Eddie Bravo, come choke me out, or
that one.
And it gets funny and shit, but like a lot of the topics are like, what the fuck,
dude? Yeah, the way they're able to go on tangent just because Joe Rogan he's such a fucking knowledgeable person. Holy shit, like.
Yeah, people always think of him just like as a
meathead, just because of his MMA background.
But he holds up these convos with very, I guess,
fucking intelligent people. Yeah, dude. Fucking Jordan Peterson's been on there several times. Fucking Dr. Robert Shog, fucking Graham Hancock, like Gad Sad. That was the very first episode I heard was with that Professor Gad Sad, and they were talking about like evolutionary psychology and shit. And that's what got me hooked, oddly enough. What sounds like a boring topic was fucking super interesting, and that's the first episode I heard that I was like, I'm just gonna keep listening to this forever.
The most recent one that I listened to was with I've been thinking about the comedian. It's Russell Brand.
Oh yeah.
Just because Russell Brand himself is also quite the fucking character. But
yeah, he is.
He talks about how his maturity, how his life has changed, and. Like if you had seen his previous presentations of himself, like through comedy shows, through just himself, how he's evolved and how Joe Rogan is able to like understand him, and he's able to build such a strong connection with his guests, like and being able to connect with so many people of so many different backgrounds and so many walks of life is. It's insane. It
really
awesome.
is, dude, and it's really like the main reason why I even started my own podcast is like the inspiration behind Aliens on the Border is very heavily from the Joe Rogan experience. Is that was like the instigator, at least for me, as far as like I want to like I don't know, I just want to be able to not do the exact same thing, obviously, but be able to provide a platform because the premise of the show specifically is like. Two different things, and the first of which, the primary thing, is like to be able to expose the creative community that exists in Laredo, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of fucking talent that goes unnoticed, whether it be like with music or visual artists, photography, whatever, like with you guys like doing the whole brewing thing. That's something that's super.
There's like a handful of people that even know I do it, so they wouldn't even know.
Exactly, and I don't know. I just want to be able to help expose most of that, and then. That's the first part of what Aliens on the Border is. And then secondly is to be able to bring people outside of what is, the narrow bandwidth that we usually exist at. Like from just waking up and like, fuck, I have to go to work and I have to fucking pay these bills and all that sort of shit. Like, that's not really what life is.
Yeah.
That's just the current version of what we live in, but that's not life.
Or that's what you've been fed to believe is your life. When in reality, one day something's going to wake these people up. And realize there's more to it.
There's a short novel. I don't know who the author is, but it's more like a short story. It's called Harrison Bergeron. If you haven't read it, read it. It's super super short, only a couple of pages long, but that's like such a fucking badass representation or like metaphor for what currently is going on with people around the planet, or at least somewhat. I say around the planet, but it's probably very much so applicable to the people here because we're so limited in what we can use our like mental bandwidth for, and a lot of it is consumed by the mundane, right? Like having a fucking wake up and go to work and worry about like, fuck, I have to pay these bills, and then it neglects so much of what it is to be a human that we're worker ants now.
Yeah.
And that short novel is Harrison Bergeron. It's just like a perfect metaphor for breaking away from all of that. Yeah. It's fucking badass. Y'all should read it if you have the time.
When you started talking about short stories like that, I think it's one that I think I read in college or high school, like The Lottery. I'm not sure if anybody recalls that, but it's just a short story, but it kind of hit the notes with me when we were talking about this, because we get so stuck on this cycle of doing things because that's all we've known up until today. Like being able to escape that cycle of this is all I know. This is what I was born to do. Like no one was born to work to pay bills. It's not what it was about. We have the capacity to be able to explore our own. Like we have so much. Everyone has the ability to be able to have something creative. Not necessarily it has to be art. As creativity in the sense of growing spiritually, mentally, and being able to have something to share. And when you get stuck in that cycle of just waking up, going to work, because that's your life.
I'll find some people where like they'll always ask you like, oh, like what do you like to do for fun? And it's just like, yeah, I don't even know. Like it's weird. Some people just answer like that.
Yeah, or one of the common ones in my experience has been like, what are you passionate about?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like the most common answer I always get.
It's like, what, yeah,
well, I don't know. I've never thought about it. It's like, I feel like that's a
what
super fucking... what the fuck?
Yeah. What's all this life for then?
Yeah. You only get one. Live it right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So that's, hopefully I'll be able to break some people out of the mold, wake them up, have them swallow the...
Get your viewers to be able to grow, to be more... I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, like y'all said, like it's very applicable here because we do mentally, like traditionally walk or like think in this narrow path, and we just that's also a lot what Cultura does. They really expose you, and they give you that shock. Like this is how people live somewhere else. Like and it's cool, and people just grow like that. I like that.
And you guys have it.
Yep.
Anything? Follow their brewing process at
MileZeroBrewing.
MileZeroBrewing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, MileZero. I was like, I kept saying it in my mind right now. I was like, because I don't want to get it wrong. MileZeroBrewing. Aliens on the Border podcast weekly. June 7th. Fourth Dimension Fridays, first ever. Other podcasts coming up very soon. Be Real, Good Sepro, and we're going to be launching another one called Cold Crowd also. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open and your brains wet, if that makes any sense. Make sure you get that CSF all up in there. Cerebral spinal fluid. But I'm going to leave y'all with this little tidbit from one of my good friends, Nicholas Whips. This song is called... Oh, yeah, so another part of the thing is like I like to play music at the end from like people that are from here. This is Nicholas Whips, and the song is called Brown Skin Baby.